right, we should be live. You should be able to see us and hear us and all those wonderful things. If there's people in the chat, hi, how you doing? Adventures Lollygagging and friends. Everyone will do their intros in a minute, plug their wonderful pluggable things. But tonight we are going to be starting a brand new campaign, question mark, mystery landscape with things from the flood. So we've been playing Vaesen in this spot for a particularly long time, for a couple months. But we're going to change it up a little bit, and for a little while longer, we're going to be playing some things from the flood, because I've been really wanting to play this. This is the very first game I ever backed on Kickstarter from Free League. 90s, it was a 90s teen, so this sort of spoke pretty perfectly. And we got quite a few people who are 90s teens here. And then we have Joe, who's just a jackass, because he's like 5 years old, apparently. So... whatever. Yeah, the 90s didn't really even happen to him, so who knows. Okay, so yeah, if you're unfamiliar with things from the flood, it's kind of the follow-up to Tales from the Loop. Tales from the Loop was like kids in the 80s experiencing, kind of solving all sorts of mysteries that had to do with like weird tech, with kind of stuff like time travel, robots, dinosaurs, all sorts of things. And this is just the 90s version of it with teens. And we're going to be doing our own, what's called a mystery landscape, which means we're going to be building a sandbox and we're going to be playing in it. And I have some stuff planned, but a lot of it is not necessarily, might come into play, might not, because these wonderful people on the screen are also going to get a nice big hand in the sandbox that they're about to play in. So it's going to be great. It's going to be awesome. But before we do all that, let's say hello to everybody. We don't have characters to introduce yet. Tonight is a session 0, so we're gonna make characters. We're gonna build the world. So if you're in chat, you can help us do that. And I have this big long list of questions that we're all gonna answer. We're gonna talk about like where we could potentially explore later on. So if you're in chat, help us out. Use the channel points. If you want to throw like 1,000 channel points at us or a couple hundred channel points at us to get an NPC or a location that you want us to put on the map, then do it, and it's cool. But let's start and go through everyone, just who you are and what are you plugging. And we'll introduce character stuff later once we actually build them. So we're just going to go by the overlay. Bert, you are up, sir.
Hey, I'm Bert BizLab on the Intertubes. I do a little podcast called Of Steam, Steel, and Murder at Blue Magic, BLUMAGIK.com, and here recently on Twitch at twitch.tv/Steam, Steel, Murder.
Perfect. And let's keep going. Chuck, you're muted. What is this, your first time? Come on.
There I am. Hey, I'm Chuck. I run Defenders of Kobold. You can find us twitch.tv/Defenders of Kobold. We run shit on Wednesdays and Fridays, and then Saturdays we're either over on Goodman Games Official or Free League Publishing, running Forbidden Lands. So yeah.
Perfect.
That's yeah.
And that baby face that you see on the far right of your screen that has a beard on his face, but is nonetheless a baby face. What's interesting is that I tried to frame everyone's heads properly, but he's just that much smaller than the rest of us. So, Joe, how's it going?
Pretty good. I'm Joe with the Defenders of Kobold, and I run a few games over there. Right now I'm running a BFRPG game, and then I play in a few others. And yeah, hopefully I'll be able to fit in with the 90s, even though I was 4 years old when they ended. So
it's okay. No one's perfect.
How this goes.
See, the joke's on you, Joe, that the 90s never ended. So there you go. There's still acid wash jeans and stuff again. It's great. It's great. We still wear flannel, don't we? When it's cold. Anyway, Melissa.
Hey,
see it
right there.
There you go.
Shine.
Awesome. Yeah. I got my Ninja Turtle thing going on here. It's fine.
There you go.
Yeah. Melissa.
So I'm Melissa with Adventures in Lollygagging. On alternate Mondays when we're not here, we are on twitch.tv/lollygaggers playing some Alien on the other Monday nights. And yeah, definitely been looking forward to playing this game.
Cool. Right on. And Jeremy.
Hello. I enjoy playing games with these people all the time. Chuck made the mistake of letting me run a Supers game on his place on alternating Wednesdays. And then on Anchor and YouTube, there's a Plewcast, PLEWD, for people talking about comics.
Perfect. And last but not least, Dan.
Everybody, Dan with the Defenders of Kobold, and I'm going to out myself here. I'm not a whole lot better than Joe. I didn't turn 13 until the year 2000. So
yeah, but you can remember the 90s at least.
I can remember the 90s,
yeah,
but
you're an honorary
90s.
You're okay. You're all right. You're all right. You're okay.
I don't quite have the breadth of experience.
That's fine. Again, no one's perfect. It's okay. It's all right. And I'm Jeff, by the way. So I'm the GM. I'll be running this thing. Let's see. What old was I? I was born in '80, so like I was a teen right in the middle of the '90s, and I had half the decade as a teen, so it was pretty great. So this is what we're gonna do tonight. So we're gonna start by just doing some light character creation first. Then we're gonna shift into world building. Then we're going to cycle back to some more character creation to sort of tighten things up based upon some of the stuff that we just made when we were doing our world building. And then, if time permits, I got a couple little prologue scenes that we might do to establish this. Now, this is homebrew in the sense that we're not necessarily following one of the two sites that are frequently described in the Things from the Flood and Tales from the Loop stuff, so Boulder City, Colorado, and then I can't remember the name of the islands, the Mallorn Islands, I think they're called, something like that, in Sweden. We're going to be doing our own stuff. We're making our own little sandbox. So there's a variety of different ways that you can play this game. One of them is just by solving individual mysteries. Another is just to do what's called a mystery landscape, where we create basically a sandbox. And we have rumors that are scattered around this sandbox, and the teens kind of go around and do stuff. And it's a little harder on the GM because it means it's a lot of improv and it's a lot of like kind of tying things on the fly, but that's more fun anyway. So let's do that. So in terms of like when this is set, we're going with 1992. So let me give you kind of the basic, this is sort of the basic premise what we're starting with. This is both for those of you that are watching, and this is for those of you that are playing. And I let this inform some of the decisions that we're going to make as we continue. So the mystery landscape is going to be a very sleepy desert town by the name of Endurance. Like that's what's going to be called. It's the town itself and surrounding regions. We don't really need to name a state. That's not really important. But think like Arizona, Nevada, think about like parts of Colorado, parts of California, that type of thing is where we're at. So it's a little rocky, but there's still forests and other things as well. And we can kind of, we'll flesh out exactly what some of the stuff are. We're also going to have the ability to travel outside of that to neighboring locations, neighboring towns, maybe parallel dimensions, different times. It all depends upon play and what, hooks you all throw into the game and what stuff we discover as we play. The major influences that I'm kind of pulling from, so expect kind of like Lynchian stuff. So if you're a David Lynch fan, if you were a big Twin Peaks fan, like I was growing up, if you watched Lost Highways, if you watched like Blue Velvet and stuff, like that's kind of where I'm pulling from with a lot of this. But more recent stuff, think of like Lost, think of the Welcome to Night Vale podcast, if you're familiar with that, or Stephen King and his like how he constantly goes back to Derry, Maine, and it's just weird and creepy and all sorts of strange stuff happens. That kind of thing is sort of what we're playing with. The year specifically, however, is going to be 1992 for reasons that you don't need to know about right now, but just most of it's because I wanted to. The year's 1992. We're starting in November. Halloween decorations are going to be lingering. Bill Clinton just got elected president. LA riots took place earlier in the year, and we're in a Western state. We're fairly close to that. Chicago Bulls, Michael Jordan are just starting their big major run. The grunge movement is hitting mainstream because Nirvana and Nevermind is actually ratcheting up the charts. We've got gangster rap is like firmly becoming entrenched in culture with Dr. Dre's The Chronic and Ice Cube's Predator, and we've got all sorts of different movies like Batman Returns, Bram Stoker's Dracula. All this stuff was happening in 92. Now I do want to stress that these are the 90s that never were. So while we'll have lots of stuff in common with like the 90s that actually were, we're going to just do whatever the hell we want at some point. And then, dinosaurs didn't actually exist in the 90s, and we might have dinosaurs at some point. Who knows? So that's kind of the general approach we're taking. 1992, sleepy desert town. Not too big, not too small. Big enough to be on a map, but not necessarily so big that anyone really wants to go there for too often. So let's start by doing character creation. So if all of you in the game right now want to bring up under the rules help area, there is a character creation document. So you can go ahead and take a look at that. I will show it to you now. So there's a sort of a step-by-step process here. And the very first thing that you need to do is choose a type. So there's different types of teens in this game. There's 10 different kinds. So let me see if I can switch this over actually to... I have a secondary little thing, and so I'll show people some things. So we've got... move this over. So we've got a bunch of different options to choose from as you're developing your teens. I have no problem if you all want to double up. I know a lot of the times we don't like to double up, but it's totally up to you and how you want to do it. But we have 10 different kinds. We've got the hacker, the jock, the lone wolf, the party animal, the motorhead, which is like a gearhead or person who likes cars, stuff like that. Raver, rocker, seeker, snob, and street kid. And if you click on the little links, I put this is just stuff I did myself. This is Foundry, but this isn't official. This is like, well, the character sheets and stuff are official, but like the different, like a lot of the handouts and stuff I just made on my own because there's not an official one of these yet. But this is Foundry. It's a really nice character sheet that's up there for Foundry right now. But like if you click on the little links, you can get like the pages and read through them, kind of see what they're about. I know a few of you were kind of just keeping an open mind. Some of you had ideas. Does anybody want to make anybody kind of curious? Anybody have specific strong feelings towards something one way or the other? Thank you for that raid, Goblin Cave TV, by the way.
Nice.
Good timing. Just started up, playing some things from the flood tonight. So good to go.
I'm leaning towards Street Kid. That's what I want to go with.
I think I'm going rocker.
I'll probably go jock. Do the opposite of Caius.
There you go. There you go.
Instead of being a high functioning coward, I'll be too stupid to be scared.
Nice. I'm kind of indifferent yet.
Just tightening up a couple windows here.
I was thinking either motorhead or hacker. I don't want to double up on anybody. So Daniel, if there's one of those you like.
I'm kind of indifferent at the moment. There's a couple of them I'm interested, but I could do like hacker or lone wolf or street kid. You know, none of them really.
Could roll it out.
I wouldn't say I was a hacker ever.
There is a random teen type table if you don't want to make a choice and you want randomness to the side. You can go ahead and hit the table. It's up there on the table list. And we have
got another raid.
TV Poke, thank you very much for the raid. Great timing. We're about 14 minutes in. We're starting up things from the flood. And when by starting it up, I mean we're literally first session making characters, all that kind of stuff. So it's good to see it. So Dan, do you want to make a random one or do you want to like make a pick?
I'll let some more people go real quick. I think it's basically just between Bert and Melissa at this point, but I could maybe do like lone wolf.
Okay, I got Chuck for rocker, right? Chuck, that's what you settled on, and then Jeremy was jock. Okay, and then Joe, were you firm on one?
Yeah, I think I'm firm on street kid.
Okay. Oh, there go. You can't be a vagabond, Dan.
He
stole it from you.
That was choice, you know, or chance, sorry, rather than choice most of the time.
And so then, Bert, did you have one?
I'm going to do hacker. I'm going hacker.
Perfect. Okay.
I think you're probably better suited for it than me. You know, I like working on technology.
I have my sweet Amiga 3000 that I could never afford back then.
I love it. So then we're just down to Melissa and Dan. What are you two thinking?
Melissa hasn't said anything yet, so.
Yeah, I rolled like 3 in a row, and they were all ones that I had rolled out that I definitely didn't want to do. I am thinking I don't know. I might do party animal, maybe. What I said before we kind of started is I felt like I played sort of the equivalent of a seeker in our last game. So I didn't necessarily want to kind of play the same type again with sort of the religious artifacts and all of that.
So party animal?
Yeah, I think I might do party animal.
All right, fair enough.
Well, I think I'll do a lone wolf then. So
Okay. We've got our party. Awesome. So why don't we take a second? Let's go through these one at a time. Just sort of read that little flavor text at the top to folks, so that you can, or at least summarize like it. So if we want to just go around that one at a time, so folks who don't necessarily have the books in front of them can kind of get a feel for what they are. So Bert, how would you what's the hacker like?
Want me to just read the text?
Yeah, you can read the text, or you could just summarize what you know of it and everything.
Yeah, so the text on it is: a couple of weeks ago, I lured an AMB 100 down into the Husky Swamp by lighting a bunch of fir branches on fire. It was like I knew it was going to hack it, though, because it got loose and threw me into the woods, and I landed with my head like an inch from a sharp rock. I'll try again tonight, and the forum will sing my praises. Yeah, little anachronistic, but yep. So I'm guessing that this is because there are robots and thingies and Tales from the Flood, so I guess that's what they're
Yes,
referring to.
there's a variety. Like I'll have there's a little index I'll put on our VTT at some point.
Which is interesting because that intimates that you can hack these things.
Potentially.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh, lots of fun things you can do. Yeah. Okay. Then Chuck, what's the rocker like? Want to give us the flavor text?
Sure. I lie awake at night, consumed by rage over how stupid people are that they actually think that Kurt Cobain, the world's greatest poet, fucking killed himself. It wasn't suicide. He was murdered. I know Courtney Love did it. Most likely out of jealousy. I want to honor his legacy by continuing his work. My Swedish teacher says my writing is the darkest and most beautiful she's ever read. She's made me an appointment with the school shrink, but how am I supposed to explain the countless signs that the world has already ended to some moron who works for the man? The fact that we're already standing in hell, trying our hardest not to smell the burning flesh and the sulfur. Wow, that's
Ooh.
yeah.
Yeah. The cool thing is that we're playing in 1992, so Kurt Cobain is alive and well. I mean, probably not well, but he's alive. He's alive. So there's
There
this.
we go.
He's a little retconning.
Whew, okay. Well, it's just because I
There's a
decided to say
conspiracy that he killed himself, but he's still alive.
I think if you play like the canon game, it's like 94, so that makes sense. Because it was about April 94, I think, when Cobain killed himself, or when, I don't know. I'm not gonna get into that. Joe.
All right. I'm playing the street kid. He looks to be the type that's hardened by like a really messed up home life. Let's say my friends go home. I hang out around by myself, smoking under the streetlights in the parking lot, waiting for my folks to fall asleep. My mom drinks too much. My little brother is in special ed, so social services, but won't take him. And since my older brother got out of prison, he's become much worse than my old man ever was. It's up to me to make sure we're all fed and clothed. The streets are the only place I can let it all out. The rage, the hate, and feel the rush of my fists put into someone's place. So putting someone in their place. Yeah.
Dark shit. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I like it. Melissa, you said you're a party animal.
I did. Okay.
This is my favorite picture. He's got the tie wrapped around his head. So stupid.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
So the party is on. We're headed out to Anna's cabin for an all-nighter. Her parents are away, and I've taken care of the booze. It's going to be so rad because I'm there. It's a shame my friends are always bailing out. They don't know how amazing it is to be at the center of attention and just let go. To take the night as it comes, as if there were no tomorrow. Sometimes I wish it was true, that there was no tomorrow, filled with hangover, angst, and nagging.
Excellent. And then Jeremy, you got Jock, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Dad says losing is for losers. My coach calls me every night to make sure I eat right and go to bed early. They say I have what it takes to make it big, and that the price of success is pain. I stopped caring about how I feel about it a long time ago. The only times I feel free are when I push myself until I almost pass out, forcing the world to fade to black and red around me.
I love the voice. This is gonna be great.
Oh,
This is gonna be so good. I can't wait. Oh, this is such the right choice. And then Dan, Lone Wolf.
Oh my gosh. Sometimes I don't get what people say when they talk to me. And when I do, I wish I didn't. People are stupid, mean, self-centered. I'm by the sidelines, seeing through their insecurities and charades. I like things that actually mean something. Film, music, books. As long as no one disturbs me, which they do all the time. My parents asking me if I ever have any new friends. My sister who always want to drag me to a party, and my classmates who only want to screw and fall in love.
All right. So now let's start punching through the steps. We've already done, we've played Vaesen, a lot of us play Alien, different games from Free League, so we kind of know how this goes. This is actually fairly simple compared to some of those other ones because we don't have talents and stuff that we have to worry about, but the basic concepts are the same. Step 2 is you just decide your age. You're between 14 and 19 years old, and that's it. This has no mechanical effect. It does in other games, other Free League games. Age does have a factor, but it does not here. So in Things from the Flood, it's just whatever you feel like having. So you can talk amongst yourselves. The other thing is, just to make this easier on me, you're be merciful. And so you can start thinking about now connections between characters. And so if people want to be related, like older brother, younger brother, or older sister, younger brother, that kind of thing. So we can always cycle back and tweak ages later. So it's not a big thing, if we need to. So you've got your character sheet set up. So just grab the one for your archetype. So I have underneath the actors directory, you can see that there's a character sheet for each one of the types. So just grab it and start punching stuff in. So you can go ahead and throw in your age between 14 and 19. And we'll cover the ages later when we introduce characters. And then you distribute attribute points. So just like other Free League games, there's 4 attributes. These are body, which is basically doing any kind of physical thing. So athletic stuff, physical labor, etc. Running, jumping, strength, all that kind of stuff. There's tech, which is building and tinkering, are like these little sub things that you can do with that particular attribute. Heart is about persuasion, lying to people, befriending people. It's kind of the face attribute, if you want to think about those terms. And then mind is knowledge, comprehension, etc., etc. You all have 14 points to distribute between your attributes, but an attribute can have no less than 1 and no more than 5 in it. The other thing is when you're looking at your different teen pages, because there's also those in the journal, you'll notice that each one of these has at the very top key skills, and those key skills are tied, just like every other Free League game, to specific attributes, right? So like move, for instance, is a body trait, or is a body skill. So if you're thinking about trying to really focus on, for instance, Jeremy, as your jock, you might, okay, I want to use force or something like that. Well, then it might make sense to have high body, etc. So an attribute can have no less than 1 and no more than 5 in it. So you can go ahead and distribute that kind of stuff now.
We get 14 to spend?
Yeah, 14 to spend. So start first by giving all of them 1, and that means you're down to 10 to distribute freely. All right. Now, if I recall, attributes won't change either. You're not gonna be able to increase them or anything like that. But skills will be able to change. That's one of the things you'll be able to spend XP on. But we'll cover that later on. So, and when we get into skill points, there's another little wrinkle to how you distribute them as well. We'll get to that in a second. But it's kind of up to you how you want to do it. Just make sure you subscribe to the 1 and 5 thing. It's got to be between 1 and 5. So, if anyone's
two of my key skills have to do with heart, so that's my 5.
Yeah, okay. You don't have to have a 5 skill, but if you want, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I definitely put a 5 in body. 2 of my 3 are in there.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, tech is my lowest.
different than usual.
Same.
Okay.
Is leadership one of the things that the party animal gets?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Move, contact, and lead.
Okay. I could see
I
that.
have force, move, and lead, but I don't know that I feel like much of a leader.
I really like how the party animal has move because it makes me think like it's like because they're dancing all the time or something or whatever. I don't know. All right, so let's move down to step 4, distribute skill points. Okay, so just like all the other games, you guys know how this works. Each one of these, and you can see in the little chart on that sheet that there's different skills that are tied to different attributes, etc. When we roll checks, just like every other game, we add up your skill. Like if you have any ranks in skill, give you a die, and the number of your attribute also give you dice. So if you have like 2 in force and you have like 4 in body, you get 6 dice to roll. You guys know how that works. So here you get 10 points to distribute amongst your skills, and you can take up to level 3 in the 3 skills that are listed on your teen type page, but everything else has a maximum of 1. So Jeremy, for instance, you don't have investigate on yours, so the max you would be able to put into investigate would be 1 point. But lead, force, for instance, you can take to 3. So distribute your 10 now. If you finish up early and want to help me fill air, go ahead and just tell me what you got. Aim for the bushes, Gary. Aim for the bushes. God, I love that line in that movie. What's that called? The other guys? You thinking what I'm thinking? Aim for the bushes. They just jump and it's there goes my hero.
Yeah.
And then they just
It's such a good movie. Everyone needs to make a desk pop every now and then.
Such an underrated movie.
It's one of my favorite lines to yell at Ashley. Like, I'm a peacock. You got to let me fly. I love that line.
So you can only have a 1 in skills that are not primary to your class.
Correct. Okay. At the start of the game, like as you gain XP, you can distribute them as you please.
So I do remember reading that there's like you can have one person that rolls leadership for the group as a whole and kind of create a pool of dice to divvy out.
Yeah.
So it might not hurt if one of us is more.
It also would be good if you just don't want to double up on certain things, just in general. So if there's like overlap between and you want to make sure that you're covering your bases, or whatever, doesn't matter. If you want to min-max it a bit.
There's got to be no leadership with this character.
Okay. Actually, my guy's got a 1 in body, 5 tech, 4 heart, and 4 mind.
Wow.
He's a social hacker.
Okay.
Ooh.
Like he knows the rocker because I get bootleg albums for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Nice.
He's going to one day develop social media conglomerations like Facebook, and that's what he's going to do. He's going to use his.
And then I'm going to tell you what to think.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So any issues with skills? Do we want to move on to the next step?
I'm good.
Okay.
Good enough.
All right. So in this game, you get an iconic.
So it was 10 total points.
10 total, yeah. Okay. So the next thing is you have to pick an iconic item. So in this game, you get an iconic item, and you can use this just like any item in game. There's not like a set inventory of items, by the way. Like items, we'll find them, we'll use them, we'll come up with them, and it's not like Vaesen or Forbidden Lands where we have like this big chart of items. But an item can give you anywhere between 1 to 3 bonus dice on a check. Usually it's just sort of something I roll, like this makes sense here, or we kind of talk it out or whatever. But the iconic item can also give you 2 bonus dice in a situation where it can be used to help you overcome trouble. So like the really fun example in the book is that using picking a pager as your iconic item and then using that as a way to boost your charm test because other people are envious of you having a pager, which is pretty great.
That's fun.
An iconic item
actually was a thing.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, we never mind. I'm not going to make that joke. Okay, iconic items never permanently break or get lost unless you really want them to. and you can never let somebody else use your iconic item. So it's not like if you have a pager, Dan, you can't, like, Melissa's not going to get credit for it or something like that. So
I know what mine is.
okay, what is it?
It's a fake ID.
Oh, that's a good idea.
That seems like it
That's
fits
awesome. Yeah.
perfectly.
That's a really good idea. Okay, perfect. So yeah, and just come up with it. And so in your character sheets, you all can just create the items directly in your character sheets. There's little pluses and stuff.
In the choose one of your own, they have a hoodie, so I'm half tempted to just, I'm wearing one, but I also thought about like a Walkman cassette player.
I'm torn between leather jacket or my dad's car. Having a car would be nice, but
it would certainly
jacket also-
get you all around
I
town
mean,
pretty easy.
Letterman jacket.
I like the idea, like you can't lose it mechanically, so it'd be like you're so terrified of losing your dad's car, you just never, nothing ever happens to it.
nice.
Okay. All right. I don't know. Roll for it, man. Do a 50-50.
Sure. Yeah, I'll go even odd. Even for the jacket, odd for the car.
Go for it.
Both sound fun.
Yeah, they do. They're both good ideas.
Okay, car.
Car it is.
I've got a
There it
car.
is.
What kind of car is it going to be, though, Jeremy? Sonrad
so-
says Trans Am, but do you have something in mind?
Something old and blocky, like with a lot of horsepower, but really noisy.
Gotta be the Crown Vic or Oldsmobile or Buick or something.
Is this an old person's car, or is it like something?
Ford Galaxy.
It's a Lincoln, just a really big Lincoln.
Oh yeah, I mean El Camino.
Camino.
That's not a bad one.
Oh man.
Oh.
We were talking about Crown Victorias before
We
I went on
were.
stream.
My,
Captain Carey.
my Crown Victoria was an absolute beast.
You can have a Ford Galaxy and play football in it.
Nice.
We can cycle back. You don't got to get it now. It's fine. We can always tweak
Okay.
this stuff later and then figure it out in between sessions too.
Evil Dead Olds from the chat.
Evil Dead Oldsmobile. That's right. Gosh.
What
man.
check would lockpicking be normally?
Lockpicking, I think that's probably a tech. Would be my guess. Probably maybe
Be Tinker.
it could be Tinker if I recall correctly. That's
Yeah.
other that like Tinker tends to be mechanical items. So that makes most sense. So
Okay.
if it was like some sort of electronic lock, maybe we might call for like program instead. But if it was a mechanical lock, we'd say Tinker. So
Okay, that's one of the suggestions it has for my iconic items. So I'm just wondering how.
okay. Yeah. So anyway, what else we got? So let's go into picking a problem. So all teens have a problem. So this can be a secret that only you know and no one else in the group knows, or others can know. It's up to you. So you don't have to share it when it comes, but it's going to be something that is going to be part of your everyday life. Everyday life is capitalized there because it's everyday life is basically scenes that we're going to be playing out in addition to doing all the various trouble and the investigations you're going to do. But it's going to be something that you want to explore during your play. It's going to be something that worries you. Your teen type sheets have examples of what your problems can be. It could be anything from your parents might be getting a divorce to something else. So whatever you want. And it's possible to solve your problem. You kind of move on from it. So from other games, you can think of this like the Dark Secret from Vaesen or from Forbidden Lands. Stuff like that are kind of similar in that way. You also need a drive. So I'm just going to kind of group these together, 6, 7, and 8. Drive is like your motivation for getting into dangerous and difficult situations. Like the 6 of you are going to be investigating some creepy, weird stuff, and that's going to be dangerous. And so what is it that sort of motivates you to do that? And so it's kind of on you all to figure out why your character would do this, because, if they don't, then they're not going to be in the session tonight. So, so you come up with some kind of drive for that. And then finally, there is a shame. So it's something that makes you feel weak, weird, and worthless. It also can be well known, or it can be a secret. And I will be using your shame to put you into trouble. Trouble is sort of the catch-all abstract concept for situations with consequence, right? So it could be a lot of different, like trouble can mean a lot of different things, but it's just situations with consequence. And once per session, you can mechanically use your shame to get an automatic success on a dice roll, even if you've already rolled, but you have to kind of justify or explain why your shame would come into play. So it could be a lot of different things.
How dark are we going, guys?
A little on the dark side.
I'm
All
cool with
right.
dark. Yeah, I'm cool.
All
with
right.
Yeah.
What are you thinking?
dark. He doesn't want to tell you.
All right. So his shame is he's dying. He's
Oh,
a type
dear.
1 diabetic with failing kidneys. Doesn't want anybody to know about it because he hates people, feeling sorry for him.
That's really good.
His problem is his dad's new partner is violent and beats him.
Jeez. Okay.
Oh man.
All right.
His item is an Amiga 4000 brand new. He gets expensive crap because his dad is guilty, just guilt ridden, buys
Yeah.
him everything he wants.
What's his drive?
Well, tech costs money.
Hmm.
He's all about making the Benjamins every way he can.
Figuring out a way to like leverage it into cash or something. Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yep.
Anybody else have some ideas?
Close. I'm thinking a problem I might have is the coach is pushing me to take some questionable supplements.
Okay. You're roiding up, huh?
Maybe
Maybe.
it's not easy, maxing out your body.
92.
Sometimes
This is HGH, man. He's pushing the HGH on you.
This is Lyle Alzado time. Yeah. Okay.
that's classy.
I like it.
And then I think one of the options I saw on the jock sheet was like your parents can't hold down a job. So I like the idea that like I'm a military punk, like the dad's like an ex-military guy that's just kind of a burnout and a loser that can't really hold a job. And that is definitely a source of embarrassment.
I like it. I like it. Okay. Anybody else?
Yeah. All right. So item is the rocker. I took a guitar. You have to, right? Problem.
You could have taken a washboard.
Oh yeah,
That's
like
another
shake it,
really
shake
good
it, shake
musical
it, shake it,
instrument
shake it.
idea.
No, I've seen the
Triangle.
masterful performance on a washboard, and I know I would always be second fiddle, so I wouldn't want to put myself through that shame.
Okay, fair enough.
The problem my dad got drunk, died in a car wreck while driving DUI, and now my mom is like super wildly overprotective and meddling.
Wow.
Yeah. So the drive I went with, I got to see crazy shit to, get musical inspiration.
You
and I
write
think
songs based upon your experiences?
Yeah, well, I'm thinking like the stoner rock, desert rock kind of shit. So
Yeah,
like
some meat
psychedelic.
puppets.
Yeah.
Yes, I love meat puppets.
So yeah, you got to see the weird shit if you want to write the weird shit.
Okay.
And shame, the first song of mine that people really liked, I totally ripped off from someone else.
Oh, of course, that's true of everybody.
Yeah.
Nice. Especially teens. God, the amount of songs I claimed to write when I was learning to play guitar.
Ain't that the truth? Yeah.
Beautiful. Anybody else want to share? You don't have to if you don't want to. We can move on. I was just curious, just giving people
Still
time.
kind of thinking on mine. These are all like cool sounding. I'm just like, oh, mine
Okay.
seems really mundane.
Don't worry about it. You can cycle
Mine's
back
gonna
later.
be. I'm gonna say my problem is my older brother pays all of the bills and keeps the lights on with crime,
Okay.
and is involving the rest of the family kind of in that indirectly.
Mm-hmm.
And my drive is to get out of all of that with my little brother.
Oh, I like it. I like that these are super serious and dark. This is. I was hoping for this. Yes.
Yeah. Mine is a little bit similar to Jeremy's. So kind of what I'm envisioning with my character is that she and her dad are currently couch surfing. And so it could be like with family members, which could be part of the group or not part of the group, but kind of the same thing, like lost his job. Mom left a long time ago, couldn't keep the house. And so now we're, both of us are sort of couch surfing around. So that's kind of the problem, is that we are sort of currently homeless, couch surfing with, relatives. So the drive for the character is essentially just not to be home, because it's not her place. It's she is you know, sort of welcomed, but not really, because I feel like she like displaced people from, you know, kind of their area. So she's trying to spend as much time away from home as possible. The shame I haven't quite figured out yet, but I see that as kind of problem and drive.
That's fine. Like these can be tweaked as we play, as we build stuff. It's no big deal. Okay, Dan, you can hang on. You can hang on if you don't have it. Don't worry about it.
I kind of got like a little bit of something, but like I was going with the cassette player as an item. Maybe the problem is that I just want to cut people out. I don't want to hear anybody.
Okay. Yeah,
I mean, you are trying to figure out what I can go with after that for like the drive and the shame.
Okay. Just I would say make sure the drive somehow would justify why you're with the group. Right, that's always kind of the danger of the lone wolf is like, well, how if I'm a lone wolf, why am I with the group? So maybe the drive is somehow connected to that in some way. Like what makes you be willing to like overcome your desire to be solitude by hanging out with these people. Okay. And now we get to kind of a really fun part here. So defining relationships to other teens. So there's a bunch of you. This is what I was talking about before. It might be good to have some pretty easy, close relationships. But all of you are going to be connected in some way. It's totally fine that you don't all have to really like one another, but you shouldn't hate one another, at least especially at the start of the game. So you could be friends, you could be neighbors, you could be relatives, cousins. I would say... Go ahead, Bert.
Oh, sorry. If I could put it out there, I could be a Lynch because I acquire stuff. Everybody needs stuff. Rocker needs inexpensive albums. Somebody needs drugs. Somebody needs, hey, you know, who's on vacation so that I can bust into their house and have a place to live for a week. I'm that guy.
Yeah. So super easy to connect to Bert.
Doesn't mean you have to like me.
Fair enough.
I'm that guy.
You are useful.
How old are you thinking your party animal is, Melissa?
I hadn't settled on that yet.
Basically, like,
you know,
oh, sorry.
I was gonna say if we all, you know, hit like, you know, the same age, like year or two, we could be in the same class. You know, breakfast club shit. You know, we all hooked up through detention or something like that.
Yeah, that's kind of an easy tie together.
Yeah. What were you thinking?
I was even gonna toss out the idea, like both of us were talking about the idea of like a mother that's gone and a father who's lost a job. Like if you were potentially up for doing like old like siblings.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
I would be up for that.
Who's the older?
You basically just want to always be at the house, and I've decided I'm going to be like the Jock has a really fun drive. I'll be a winner, even if it means risking my life.
I like it.
So we're just dealing with our problem in very different ways.
I really like that. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, works for me.
Okay.
So do you want to be the older sibling or the younger sibling?
Sure. Yeah, I'm trying my best to get out of here, like, but in a different way.
Okay. So what else? Dan, Joe, can you think of anything off the top of your head, like how you might want to be connected to some of what you've heard so far?
I feel like my character would be like his family would be like a cousin or something of one of the other struggling families. So like they're not close enough that they would help, but they're just kind of like, yeah, we know he's there.
I mean, we've heard struggling, Melissa and Jeremy's family struggling. You could be one of them cousins or something like that.
Yeah,
that could work. Could kind of tie the three of you together. As Chuck knows that it's very difficult when you have like 6 people and you have like 6 dark secrets and you're like, well, how do I get all of them into one session together? So the more overlap we can have with like NPCs and secrets and stuff, the easier it is to kind of directly involve all of you. So that kind of web would actually work out pretty well.
So I got like maybe Melissa being the party animal. Maybe like I play at some of her, the party she goes to, or, I'll go out partying with her at sometimes because, Rocker's got a party too. And through that, I met Jeremy's character. And, my Rocker, I did give him a body of 4 with Move It 2. So, maybe every now and then we get drunk and throw a football around or some shit in the backyard of whoever's house we're crashing at. Bert's, of course, he hooks me up with free albums, so he's my little nerd buddy.
All right.
Maybe I run around with Dan's character sometimes because he says some fucked up shit, and that's good for some lyrics. Joe's, I'm not quite sure yet. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Joe's the street kid, so he's always just kind of, yeah.
But also a cousin to.
I think
Mhm.
maybe once in a while, if Joe's character is kind of sly, you might goad me into doing some stupid shit. So I'm really
Oh,
strong
absolutely.
and I'm really fast. And fuck it,
Yeah.
we're all broke.
Very true.
Yeah, I think I could get along with Bert's character because he's kind of an outsider like myself.
Yeah. I
Uh,
feel like I would be friends with birds or anyone that has like food at their house. I would just like be buddy with them,
Yeah,
coming up with random excuses to come over.
Okay. All right.
sneaking's kind of my thing also, so I could maybe get along with the party animal, maybe because they need me for something more than anything. But
Hmm.
Okay. Fair enough. All right. I think this is a good start. Relationships aren't static. They're gonna change over time. They can change. You can change it between sessions. You can evolve them, tweak them as we go. But I think we have a fairly solid foundation to work with for today. Let's talk about anchors. So in this game, when you take conditions, and you take conditions the same way you basically do in Vaesen, really the only way you heal is to have a scene. Or this is one of the only ways. Is have a scene with your anchor. Your anchor is a person that you can go to for support, comfort, and care. It can't be another teen. It's got to be somebody else. And so examples are like parent, teacher, neighbor, etc. Whatever you want is fine. So when you want to heal your conditions, you actually have to frame a scene with them. So you say, I'm going to go, spend the next couple of hours with this person, and we're going to talk about our stuff. So whether it's somebody that like, a guitar tutor for Chuck or whatever, or something like that, figure out how you want to do it. But it's going to have a mechanical effect, because it means that's how you're going to be getting your healing done. So think about what that might mean. Jeremy, you mentioned a coach, but I don't know if the coach is trying to get you to do HGH, so maybe there's somebody else.
Yeah, probably not.
maybe it's like the awkward student counselor that's like trying to help you do better in school or something.
Yeah,
like
well, because
it could be a recruiter.
oh yeah,
Oh, there you go.
Military recruiter.
oh
Yeah.
man, especially because like I don't want to join the military because I've seen how worthless our dad turned out. But at the same time, like he's really supportive and like positive, and he might only be saying it because he's trying to recruit me. But it's just nice to have that.
It's the ROTC head at the high school.
I remember from that
Yeah.
era, like if your parents were in the Navy, you took the ASVAB in high school, and they would hound you. Like they would call asking for
Yeah.
you, and if you how interested you were.
That's
Oh,
how it was
man.
for me. Like my dad was Navy. Most of
Yeah.
my family's either Marine or Navy, and yeah, I was hounded all through high school
Yep.
for ROTC.
When they found out that my dad was in Vietnam, holy crap! Yeah, just not only in the halls would they pull me aside, but I would get stuff in the mail and everything. Yep.
Okay.
Okay, I like this. What are you
I
thinking,
picture
Joe?
I picture my anchor being like some wizardly sage homeless guy,
Yes.
and that just lives around town.
Yes.
I run into him a
Hobomancer.
lot.
Yes. This
Yeah.
is great. This is I
found
like
all
this
the
idea.
right spots to panhandle. And
Perfect.
Yeah, he's just someone I run into a lot as I'm not at home and
Okay.
trying to avoid trouble or get into it.
Okay. Dan, you got an idea?
gosh, I was so caught up in everybody else's ideas.
I'll come back. Chuck, you got an idea?
Yeah. I'm gonna go with my granddad Charlie. Was an old blues musician back in the day, and he's the one who taught me how to play guitar.
Awesome. I like it. Bert,
Yeah.
you got something?
Yeah, so he runs a BBS that he doesn't talk about, and it's basically for people that have the same syndrome he has.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a guy that has a handle ER doc that shows up all the time, and we trade tech information, send stuff to each other through the mail, that sort of thing.
Cool. Sounds good. Melissa?
So I've got a friend. Her name is Summer. She is like 19. So like I see her as an anchor. An external individual would probably not see her as a good influence.
Mhm.
But you know, that's kind of my go-to person for support.
She helped you get your ID, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Let's talk about. We'll come back to the hooks. The hooks we'll come back to. Now we got to collectively define friction. So the teens are friends. You stick together, but there's always friction in the group that creates conflict, drama, interpersonal conflict, etc., etc. You all get to decide what this friction is. So it's something that the group is all aware of. It's internal. There's a bunch of examples of like the basic themes that you can kind of look at. So whether like there's a rivalry between two people, and not only is it like affecting the two of the people that are in the rival, but it's spiraling out and hitting all the others, or two of you are in love and others are jealous, or whatever it might be, but there's some kind of friction amongst you. So what do we...
How about the...
Go ahead there, Bert.
How about the overriding that we're actually a really tight group, but all of us have different things we want to accomplish after high school. And we all know that like, this is the last year. This is
time.
We don't want to talk about it.
Yeah. Time. It's basically the friction is the, like you see it. I love that. That's a great idea. That
is a pretty good one.
Super sad too. Now I feel old.
Yeah.
Go listen to some Bruce.
Gonna go cry for a minute.
Okay.
Go listen to Smith's TP.
Any other ideas? Or what do we like that?
I like that.
one.
Like for the most part, we actually do like each other, but just
there's only so much.
We're trying to distance each other, maybe because we know like it's gonna hurt more.
Yeah.
You know, if we're really tight by the end of the summer or by the end of the year, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my whole character's motivation is like getting away, like separating himself, but he also, would have some bonds and friendship. That make it difficult.
Okay. Yeah, I'm thinking Llewellyn's probably like 18. He's either going to do well enough to get picked up by a team somewhere, or he'll just suck it up and go to the military.
He's going to go down.
So
to
one
Tempe.
way or the other, he's leaving.
He's going down to Tempe party school.
Figure Edward's young. He might be the youngest. He's going to be 15, but he's been jumped years, so he's probably in the same class.
That makes sense. Okay, so there are other questions, but I feel like what I'm going to do is I'm going to like there's like one of the other steps is that the GM asks each individual teen a series of questions, but I kind of want to give people time to finish out some of their things and kind of flesh it out, and then I'm going to ask these questions to help continuing to flesh those out. So I'm probably going to ask like some, you can see the list up there, but I'll send them to you, or I'll post them to the chat on our Discord, and we'll work on that in between. Then there are a couple questions that I'm supposed to ask for the group itself, and so I feel like we can do that right now. So so basically 2 or 3. So we kind of alluded to this when we were talking about skills, but who takes charge in the group? Like who is kind of the alpha in the group, so to speak, to use that parlance?
Not it.
Right now, it sounds like we really have a fixer and a motivator in like Bert's character.
Yeah, but I'm kind of a behind the scene and manipulate people sort.
Okay.
I mean, he's like physically, he's like nothing. He looks like the kid he is. He's like not imposing in the least bit, but he can manipulate people to do things for him.
Might be my character. I picture if we were all the same age, he'd still be older because he was like held back a year or something. So,
Okay.
He's 27,
and he's got that like that kind of always trying to be the higher one for his younger brother. He kind of translates that to his friendships too.
I kind of also like Melissa as the leader because the party animal is like the person that like motivates us to do stuff.
Could
Like
be that too.
always, has
the
has
socialite
a-
that's pushing
yeah.
you to do something or another.
Just
Yeah.
Well, and I
Yeah.
think she's just always wants to be on the go. So like there can't be a night where there isn't something going on. Like there's
That's
always
nice.
got to be something that we're focusing on, something we're doing, something that keeps us
You
busy.
heard this
so
rumor about something
That's true.
going on over here.
That'd work better as because that's more like group centric. My motivations are more individual too. So That'd probably
and
fit.
it's perfectly fine. I mean, like, this is all it's not like an official position, so like it very easily could be something that kind of vacillates depending upon the situation. Like in certain cases, if it's more social and party, it might be like Melissa's
Who
group. But
feels
if
more
it's
strongly.
Or better yet, we all have really bad home conditions. This is our mother and father. Like these are our mother and father figures.
Oh, gosh,
like, you
bro.
know.
Oh, no.
this is a doomed group. Oh, poor fools. Okay. All right, so I'm putting down Joe and Melissa for now. I don't have all your names. I'm not going to worry about them this week, but
Sure.
but Joe and Melissa for basically kind of who takes charge in a variety of situations. Second question I want to know is who dislikes your group?
Is there
Anyone
a phase
that's got
where we
it
do
together.
Is there a phase where we do any kind of like town building first?
Yes,
Maybe
we're
we
gonna
could
do that.
first.
Okay, we can come back to that.
Then we'll know what what the lay of the land is and who else there is.
Yeah, it's not official.
Punched 'em
It's
all
not an
cop
official
once.
town creation. It's just sort of my thing, as I ripped off some Spectacular's ideas and just spun it out based upon some other stuff I do with, honestly, some of my classes. So you guys are gonna. Sorry. And then okay, then the other thing is, let's see. There's one other I wanted to do. So who just likes your groups? Oh, and what do you enjoy doing together? We can get back to that again. We can come back to that. So we'll cycle back and when we have time. So what do you enjoy doing together? Going to Denny's, drinking coffee.
Waffle House.
Somebody said the local Dare chapter hates you.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's-
92?
yes.
Is that
That's 90,
Moms
it's a good year.
Against Drugs? Mad? Were they
Mad?
were big
No.
then?
And
That is
Dare.
big. Dare
And
was
Dare,
Dare
yeah.
was
Dare was
around
big.
in
Yes.
92.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes,
That's
definitely.
fantastic.
All right. So that's all for like the official stuff, like meaning like from the text of the core rule book and all that kind of stuff. Now I want to work on some world building components to build our sandbox because I wanted to flesh these out. While there's like some guidelines or guidance for building your sandbox, about the idea of creating hooks, I'm going to go a little bit further. One of the other games that we play that Jeremy runs over on the Defenders of Cobalt channel, you run some Spectaculars, and they have these wonderful little questionnaires as you flesh some stuff out. So we're going to go through some things like that. We're going to flesh stuff out. This is going to be the map. You can see it's plain and generic right now. I'm going to be taking notes, and I'm going to be listening back, and then I'll be kind of populating different stuff. I haven't put any kind of icons anywhere on here. I haven't identified where stuff is and isn't because that's something we're all going to do basically now together. So I'm going to ask you all a bunch of questions. And those of you who are in the chat who want to chime in and help us with this, please do. Please do. So what I've done is I've sort of broke this down into a couple of different subsections. But I'm trying. Let's start with this is a small town. And so in the sense that it's a small town, like I'm thinking like Main Street. What do we consider sort of like Main Street? It doesn't have to, it could actually just be Main Street, or it could be like a sort of like where the main business of the town is, or where the state offices are, or it could just be like some sort of generic small town, main thing where there's a bunch of small little shopping centers. But does it have a road? Does it have a name? Is there something that we refer to, like our home, like the home base for the town?
What's the name of the town again?
Endurance.
So I'd imagine it's like maybe some sort of like old frontier trail or something like that. Like this town is called Endurance because of how horrible it was to, like maybe even there's a joke.
To
The
get
reason
here.
we have a town is people's wagons broke.
Mm-hmm.
Like wagons wheel, lane or something like that. Like people only settled here because the wagons broke.
We
Okay.
literally have a road called Beaver Ruin Road. And I've yet to find out anyone who knows the story behind that.
That's a really nice name for a road. Okay.
It is.
If it's like off riffing off like the wheel, wagon wheel, you call it like Wheeler Street or something like that.
Okay. Wheeler Street. I like it. It's first. Okay. Wheeler Street. Okay. I always living in Arizona. Melissa and I've been living in Arizona for 20 years now almost. And yeah, I just don't know what people were thinking Like, just like, we quit. We're done. We're not. This'll have to do. Because yeah, this just doesn't seem like a smart place. Okay, so
we got a Wheeling Ave recommendation.
Wheeling Ave. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Wheeling Ave. All right. Now, what are some like businesses or landmarks on Wheeling Ave or Wheeling Street?
Ooh, how about, why don't we have a talk about how affluent the town is first?
Yeah, we'll get into that, but I'll say this: for the most part, it's all middle to lower class with very sparse upper class stuff. Very sparse, but mostly it's middle to lower class.
I feel like there's
There's
got to be
gonna
like a
be-
convenience store.
Blockbuster videos.
I was about to say that.
Yeah.
There's got to be a
Yes.
Blockbuster.
Okay.
Yes,
And
it
there's
does.
got to be
Dollar
that little
stores.
that
Gotta
little
be dollar
cafe.
stores.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Dollar store. Got it. Okay.
Convenience store, cafe, blockbuster.
Like
pizza places. There's gonna be like rival pizza places.
Like
Gotta be.
there's got to be like a drugstore, but
food.
it's not like a Walgreens. It's just some sort of
Yeah.
like
It's
Rite
like
Aid.
it's like a drugstore and a laundromat combo.
I love it.
Wow.
Nice.
Okay, that's
Oh my
great.
Oh, there's gotta be a video arcade. There's
Okay.
gotta be.
Right.
That is
Oh,
true.
man.
You can't have a teenager game without an arcade there.
And then
Uh,
I heard
But it's
I heard
comboed with a bowling alley that has like 6 lanes.
There you go.
Oh, yeah. It's the bar, arcade,
five
and
work.
bowling alley.
Yes.
Yeah, they sell
Yes.
beer and alcohol there as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Wonderful.
That's basically our bowling
Yeah.
alley here.
The five and dime store.
Okay.
Yeah, somebody.
I'm
Five
so
work
glad we're
and one of
recording
them,
this.
the gutters are like stuck up permanently. And
Well, there's
Mhm.
for the pizza joints, there's the local pizza joint,
Okay.
and then there's the Pizza
The
Hut.
chain.
Yes.
Yeah.
We've got a
Donato's
Yeah.
Pizza as
Donato's
the local.
Pizza and Pizza
Oh, we
Hut.
gotta
Oh,
have
yeah.
a shady bookstore, like the bookstore that's got like used books and it's like got like really crappy employees that don't want to help you, but somehow it just keeps going.
And there's
Yeah.
there's a room in the back.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's where my
yeah.
hobo wizard frequents.
I like
The room in the
Shakey's as
back.
the name of a bar on Main Street.
Oh, Radio Shack. Hell yeah, there's got to be a Radio Shack.
Mm.
Yeah, I
But that
went
might be
to Radio
too
Shack for
classy
a
for a
long
small
fucking
town.
time.
All right.
Well, it's like one of those weird franchise Radio Shacks where it's got some weird ass name, but everything inside is branded Radio Shack.
Yeah.
Mhm. Oh, Radio Shack. You were
It's
you're a
back.
king for so long.
We have
It's
to have
back
a
in
mall
business.
too. But if this is like middle income, lower income, it's got to be a crappy mall.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We'll get to
I-
we'll get to that.
I would my vote would be that there is a mall nearby, but not here.
I'm
Oh,
just
hey, that
focusing.
works.
You
Yeah,
have to
Yeah.
go
I'm
somewhere
just
Yeah.
to the
focusing on
mall.
Yeah.
on literally Wheeling Street
Main
Ave
Street.
or Wheeling
Yeah.
Ave. That's what I'm focusing on right now. And then okay, so one other question I have about Main Street is, so holidays happen. What do we do anything on Wheeling Ave for like Thanksgiving,
Settlers
Christmas?
Parade.
Settlers Parade. Thank you.
There you
Old
go.
Settlers Parade.
Yes, perfect.
Oh, especially. Oh, okay, yeah. It's November Settlers Parade. Thank you, Jeremy. Perfect. That's what I was looking for.
There's the town birthday or whatever it is. Like there's a yearly
Day.
like endurance fest or something like that where like
Oh,
They
almost like
close
your
off-
Tough Mudder type thing.
well, I wasn't necessarily I was thinking more like those weird ass like cakewalks and like where's
Founders
the chicken
Day.
gonna shit and
Where's the chicken gonna shit?
You gotta have
Where,
raffles.
where are you
Uh,
from?
but you've never they're like
No, I've
they-
never participated in the game. Where's the chicken gonna shit?
The answer
Yeah,
is
they-
everywhere. They
they
shit
paint
everywhere.
a grid on the ground and they number it and you take bets on which square the chicken's gonna take a shit.
Is this a real thing, or did you just make this up?
No, it's legit.
This is a real thing. Okay. Okay. We
It's got a
have-
better name than where's the chicken gonna shit, but I don't
Where's
remember
the
it.
chicken? I'm writing it down. Where's the chicken gonna shit?
Happy ending right there.
Okay, fair enough. Chicken bingo is way
I
classier.
picture the bookstore just
bingo,
having
yeah.
like one just really dingy flag per, like it's got like this single street light outside of it that they put like one flag on. That's all of their decorations.
Okay, I like it.
Hmm.
Okay,
Ooh,
so
how about
that's
they have a day where they lower all the flags half mast and it has something to do with the town's history. But no one really remembers. We just keep doing
Oh,
it
yeah.
because it's been done since
got
the
They
Yeah.
did
town
it
was
last year,
founded.
and we'll do it again this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's got something to do with that Beaver Road that's got that weird ass name.
Beaver Ruin Road.
It's a strange black obelisk out in the desert. Has something to do with that.
Yeah.
All right. Next questions for you have to do with sort of like residential questions. So there are rich folks here, and again, sleepy desert town. Where do the rich folks live?
So, want to just divide it like between north and south, the haves and have-nots?
That would be that's
could
a
it just
river,
be-
right?
No, that's a highway basically. It's the
Okay.
main
Yeah,
highway going.
it's
down.
going east to west, right? So
So,
could it just be the further north?
Yeah,
Well-
because normally if you're moving on up, it's to the east side.
I like where your head's at. I will say this one thing that I mean, Melissa and I, we live out in the desert. One of the really rich folks, they live up on the mountains.
Up on the mountain.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So like
Okay.
they
Yeah.
have
It's
these.
It's like the movie.
Mhm.
Have you
Well,
seen
we
the
got
movie
that-
Scorched?
We got that ridge of
Maybe.
mountains.
Yeah.
With
through there.
yeah.
Woody
Well, I was
Harrelson.
thinking that because rich people they always like to live in their own little neighborhood with just one way
Yeah.
in and out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And if
so
you
they're
look
not
that
gonna live
area
by
to the
highway.
that southeast area, it's one road in. It's got
Ooh.
some little lakes there.
Oh.
You know, maybe someone's got a little.
Lakefront property. Oh heck yeah, that's the
Yeah.
rich people.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
there you
We
go.
can
It's-
and we can. Don't worry about this map in terms of like I can change this. This is just sort of to give us something to start with.
Okay.
So
I think it's gotta be away from the highway.
Okay.
Because that's where poor people live.
so rich folks live. There's so we've got
All
two
the
different
noise and
ideas.
stuff now.
We've got what I heard gated community and I heard like up the
Up
mountain.
in the mountain or by the water.
Yeah,
Okay.
like
up-
maybe like you've got like some really high end guys got the like little mountain stronghold, and then you've got your lakefront property that's the gated community.
and lakefront.
Maybe you've got like two groups of rich people.
Yeah, maybe there's like a little bit of the
The,
United
many
the
old
thing going on.
Hillies. Yeah, the Hillies and the Lakeys, and every year they fight it out on Main Street.
Yes.
In the chat,
Ah,
it says
the
always in
cash,
the
and they start
northwest.
throwing it at each other.
Okay. Where do poor folks live?
Oh, right near the highway.
Right
Yeah.
near the highway.
Just like right on the
Probably
highway.
like in this area.
Okay,
Yeah.
right on the highway. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
That's where all the businesses are at that they work at. That's where all the
Hey.
housing's cheap.
Mhm.
And then
You know,
also
it's
like
the first
way
stuff
out
that
here.
got built. I assume it's like the first stuff that got built in
Yeah.
the town. Went
So
out from
close,
it.
Mhm.
strangely enough, fairly close to downtown. Then, like just because of that, because that's how it tends
Mhm.
to be in a lot of the
Mhm.
small towns I see, or like with like.
Maybe you got like vast parking lots where people just pay for a trailer lot, and so you've got just these.
Oh, trailer park.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So right on the highway near downtown, and then we've got some trailer parks. Give me a name of a trailer park.
Oh, it's got to have
Booger
something
Hollow.
ostentatious. No, it's got to have something like
It's like
ostentatious.
whispering
Down.
something or other.
All I know is we had a trailer park in Mississippi called Booger Hollow, and it was terrifying.
Okay.
That sounds
Because,
a
like,
terrible name.
Have you
Whispering
seen Wrong
Hollow,
Turn?
then. Whispering
Yeah,
Hollow.
Whispering
Hollow.
Hollow.
Whispering
that sounds
Hollow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Melissa,
Burnt
classing it up.
cabins.
Sounds
They
like
Burnt
They
Cabins
would call
Trailer
it-
Park.
yeah.
There's another one called Burnt Cabins. I'm writing that down too.
And you
Burnt
can have like
Cabins
that,
Trailer.
you know, green,
We
green
warned
meadow.
you. We warned you with our name.
it's the only trailer park that's like growing inside, like or shrinking
Yeah.
it rather.
You have like the green meadows or something that sounds nice and pleasant.
It's a
Um,
recommendation in chat for Lucky Stars, which I think should be the name of the motel.
Yeah,
'Cause
I was
Yeah.
getting to
Oh,
that.
yeah.
I was
it's
getting
a
to
cheap
that.
motel.
Yeah.
Lucky Star sounds
Yeah.
good. I'll jump down because one of the questions I have is there a sleazy motel? And Lucky
Yes.
Stars sounds like a
Lucky
sleazy
Stars.
motel.
Oh man,
Okay, excellent catch.
wonderful.
All right.
It looks like it was built falling apart.
I hate to ask this question, but is the shitty dive bar called Skankles?
Skankles.
I called it Shakety before because I liked Shakety, or was something like that?
Shakies.
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 Oh,
Shakey's
Shakey's
bar.
is good too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shakies is good.
But Skankles.
Maybe
Well, Skankles is the members only bar. that we're not supposed to know
Oh.
about.
Yeah. It's just right on the edge of town. There's
On
an
the-
Yeah.
world class gentleman's bar,
Yes.
Skankles.
Or
It's like,
Skankles
it's
could
like
just
right out of
be
the city limits, so that it's in
Yeah.
the next territory, so it's legal
Mm.
there.
Yeah.
Melissa, what was the name of that one place near? So when we went to the University of Florida and we would travel there, like there was like a good stretch of about 30 minutes where the only billboards you would see was for this like trucker strip
Oh.
club whose name I just totally can't remember, and you would just see it for a half an hour. There would be there these
Oh, at
massive
least.
billboards.
It's
We
called
could-
mud flaps.
I feel
what
like
else do you call it?
I feel like Skankles is that
Oh.
trucker
Skankles?
strip
Alright.
club.
Oh,
Yeah.
wonderful.
Okay, Skankles equals. Okay, we're getting everything in here. I'm so glad we're recording this because I'm not catching
Huh.
everything. Trucker strip club. Okay, okay, Joe, you have a homeless. Hey, Jordan, how's it going?
Mhm.
So Joe, we're just doing some world building right now. Where things from the flood for our mystery landscape, Jordan. It's been fun. Joe, you have a homeless anchor. Is that correct? A homeless person for an anchor?
Yes.
Where do homeless
Yep.
people live?
Under the bridge.
I feel if there's like any forest or something, like I think it'd be hilarious if it was like right on the other side of the lake.
Okay, I like it. That is so good.
Yeah.
Okay, other
Right,
side.
right by the rich people because they probably
Yeah.
go and like pilfer their trash cans. And
Yeah.
stuff.
Oh, it's so
That's
great.
all the
So
best
big.
eating right there.
What's the name of
Yeah.
the lake?
Crystal Lake.
I don't know.
I'm kind
Star
of love
Lake.
if it was Christopher Lake. That's good.
But it's Crystal with a K.
Oh, there you
Crystal.
go. There you go.
Okay. All right. Until we have a better option. It's
Round
good.
Lake.
It's gonna be.
Ew,
Oh God.
No, they wouldn't live by
Oh.
a drown lake.
they
It's gotta
would.
be-
Yeah.
It's gonna be Crystal
Gotta,
Lake with a
you know,
K
sound up
until
the
someone gives us a better idea. And then okay. Let's see. That's all good. That's all. We can skip some of that. All right. So let's talk about parks. It's a desert community up in the mountains. There's parks nearby. But parks aren't necessarily nice places or good places. Sometimes it's just like sometimes the national forest is just literally just nothing. Like I can tell you
Right.
from living out in the West. So
Just forest.
there is a nearby. We're gonna say there's a nearby national park.
Mm-hmm.
What's it called?
What if it was
And
like
what's it
Crystal
known
Canyon,
for?
and then the lake was like runoff from the canyon,
Say that again.
like a Crystal Canyon or something like that? That sounds like there's something to do there.
Okay, Crystal
and then
Canyon.
the lake comes from the canyon.
There can be what we guess is Native American glyph writing on like the canyon walls and stuff. Maybe there actually is a cave that has like geodes and stuff in the walls. And that's
Okay.
where the crystal comes from.
Got it.
Mm.
I got it. This is all making sense. Geodes in the walls. Okay,
Which means
perfect.
that close to the natural
But
park.
there's
is
only
yours.
like one that's ever been found.
Yeah, that's what
Okay.
I mean. Like,
And it was like
sounds
enough to name it.
promising.
So is this the type of is this the type of park that's so good? Like like these geode caverns in Crystal Canyon are they so good that it actually draws tourists here, or is it just like we have it?
I'd like to imagine it's tourist trappy.
Okay.
Like they got a place,
Yeah.
a whole bunch of these on display that didn't necessarily come from there.
But it's
Mm.
It makes
tagged up
well
with
enough
spray
to have
paint.
billboards that draw random people in,
Okay.
but it's always disappointing.
Okay.
Mhm.
Like you pay to go on a tour, and you can pay extra to like look for them or something like that, but you'll never find any.
Right.
Yeah.
We had a question in chat earlier if there was a spiritual retreat in the area, and I feel like the spiritual retreat would kind of be in
Yeah.
the same area as
I
like
did
the-
actually have
just
that. I
outside
did
the
have.
park.
I did ask. I think I did have one of those somewhere. As like, is there a spa or something? Yeah. Okay. Because that happens.
It's more of that new agey
hmm
kind of a
Okay. So
feel
new.
to it. Yeah.
All right. New agey.
Oh, yeah, maybe there's a mineral spring. So like it's
Mm.
the exceptional salts from the cave system have created a natural
Awfully fancy
salt bath.
town. I was thinking spas or a tanning
think-
salon. That's where it's
I
at.
think Slide Whistle is like cheating and looking at my notes because one of the next question I had was what tragic event happened here 20 years ago before any of you were born? They said that a kid went missing, but feel free to elaborate
yeah.
on that. Do we want to do it? Would
They
you
were
want to do the
playing
kid
a
missing?
game of mazes and monsters, and he went missing when they used the games.
I mean, That's pretty great already. I mean,
right.
It is.
Prince Money, kid missing in cabins.
Prince Money. Kid went missing.
But secretly, he just went off in a weather balloon.
Okay, we're doing
Oh
it.
shit.
Weather balloon.
I would like to think it's like related to whatever caused like their dad to lose their job, and then like maybe my parents too, like being out of work, like just some like tragic thing that shut down one of like the local factories or something.
Mm.
Okay, then the other thing I want to know, there's a more localized like park, meaning it's like either local, like a city, like it's like a city designated community park, or it's like a state park that runs something small that really only locals use.
Playground.
Okay, playground.
Playground.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Is it near? Then it's probably near downtown, I would think, at that point, right?
It's gotta be like the municipal playground that's attached to the school that just
Okay.
everybody can use.
Yeah,
Playground.
it's got 2 swings and a tether ball.
Does it have a name?
Everything is poured concrete, but they just painted it
God.
bright colors.
This is
Nice.
my childhood now. Okay. Does it have a name?
It's got like it's just full of wood chips.
Oh no,
But,
it,
like,
it had to have been
recommendation chat.
donated by one of the rich families, so it's named after them.
Yeah.
Oh.
Here, peasants, have this thing.
Yeah.
Mhm. The municipal school funded by the
All the fame
you know,
for-
the Brookgates or something like
Mhm. Hmm.
Okay, so we got a playground near downtown, poured concrete, etc. Okay, so that covers that. So then the other thing is for the playground, what strange event happened here, or is rumored to regularly happen here?
What I mean,
How crazy do you want us to go?
I mean, throw it out there, and if it's too crazy, we can reel it back.
there was well, I don't know, like occult stuff, like someone like it's rumored back in the day someone was trying to like summon the devil there or something like that, and that's why it's all poured concrete painted over, because they keep trying to paint over whatever
It's
crazy
built on like an Indian holy site.
that.
Yeah, I mean we're right
On
next
top
to
of
that
burial
other
ground.
spot.
Mhm.
Maybe a sigil keeps coming up out of the ground, and they keep having to scrape
to
it off or
repaint
paint
it
over
or
it.
Okay.
yeah.
Sigil demonic keeps showing up on that damn concrete. Okay, got
Those
it.
kids in their spray paint going out there
Yeah.
and making a
Mhm.
mess of things.
Those damn street kids, Joe.
Yeah.
We're world building. That's what we're doing. We're collaborative world
We're
building is
Yeah.
what we're doing.
Yep.
Hey,
We're describing
hey,
our
Eddie.
homes.
what's going on, Eddie?
Yeah.
We're just talking about playgrounds and demons and stuff. Usual shit we do on a Monday. All right.
Normal things, right?
All right, so let's move on to some industrial stuff. All right, so what factory sits outside of town, just outside, and employs a large percentage of the population of the town? Not the
It
entirety.
has to be a factory that manufactures the tips of shoelaces.
The flugel binders.
Aglets.
Okay.
I could, or I was thinking, like some kind of like meat factory. That way, the town's always got that real funky smell to it.
Okay. What kind of meat?
Either that
What
or
kind of meat would
or
they
something-
have in a desert
Oh,
town?
potted meats. They make like those little potted meat things.
Yeah.
Like
so,
I
like
can't remember
Dak
the name.
ham and
Yeah.
Mm.
I'm gonna put it
I
down.
thought about
but I'm not
something to
happy.
do with like
Spam.
the rocks and stuff too, so it could constantly smell like chemicals.
I'm putting down meat factory because meat factory is fun.
Mm.
Okay, we'll figure out the details of the meats later. But I like that
Yeah.
potted meats. I gotta look this up. What the hell's a potted meat?
oh man.
Well,
Like
things like
Spam and
devil
things like
wurst.
that.
Oh,
and,
okay, okay.
Spam.
Oh, like
and
canned meat.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah,
meat.
canned meat.
All
Yeah.
right. It's like yeah. I think it was the.
I
pot
love
thing.
some.
potted meat's a southern thing.
We can have a beer.
Yeah.
You know what? We'll have a beer factory too, Sondrat. I like that.
Excellent.
Be a-
Yeah,
there's-
because we've got the crystal, like we've got the water coming down, so that
Right.
you sell it
Okay,
off
yeah.
that.
Okay. All right, crystal beer.
Like a local
question
brewery
mark.
kind of a
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah,
Maybe that's it's crystal beer
yeah.
brewed
Yeah.
with the water from Crystal Lake.
And they have
There it
they
is.
have their low calorie version called Crystal Light. Oh
Yeah.
shit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So then other questions. What's the name of the meat factory? Like the company name or anything like that? What do we want to call it?
Like
Mr.
hams with
E's
2
meat.
M's.
Hams
be
with
like
2 M's,
Mr.
there's it?
I like that. I like because I was thinking like dak ham. If anyone
Hams.
gets a chance to eat some dak ham, it's delicious and disgusting.
Hams with
Like
2 M's.
jellied, yeah, hams with 2 M's.
Okay,
I
got it.
think that's a beer company in real
For
life.
all your spreadable meat needs.
And we already okay.
For all your. Never mind.
I was picturing like a
Oh, God.
like one of those like I don't know Chef Boyardee type things where it's named, but it's Mr. E's
Mm.
meat.
Yeah, you have to be
Mr.
careful
Hams. Mr. Hams.
with
Uh,
Mr.
right.
Hams, I can do.
Yeah.
I'm writing
Just
down
say
for
be
all
careful
your
'cause
spreadable
hams,
needs.
hams with 2 M's is actually a
had-
real thing.
Wait, it could be. We can
We're fine.
rip them off. It could be.
Yeah.
We have
Hams is
Crystal
the
Light.
factory. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
Hams is the factory, and their main product is Ham-Ease, but it's like ham-ease because it's super easy to prepare.
It's an aerosolized meat.
Spray it out of a can.
You can either buy it in air spray or you can buy it in toothpaste tubes. Your choice.
Gosh, well, at this point, it's basically like Flex Seal, but
I'm
it's
writing
like,
stuff down that I never thought I would write before. Aerosolized
I
meats?
would-
Question mark?
And now I just imagine like that Ren and Stimpy meat drink over at the brewery.
Yes, Gerard. We'll have a bakery downtown for sure. Yeah, let's do that.
Oh my
Where'd that
gosh.
go? Well, a bakery downtown that's got a Swedish baker, just for old time's sake.
Oh, look at the name in the chat. Ham Wow.
Ham Wow.
Ham Wow.
Wow, there you go.
Oh. Mm.
Looks like Carrion got blacklisted saying
Oh, what happened?
much better.
Oh, I think. Wait, what? Huh?
Mm.
That's strange. We drop
Yeah.
bombs, don't we? I don't think Matt's got us that.
Oh, it just said
Nice.
much better, I think.
It's only 5 seconds. He should be back by now. Okay. So then, what terrible accident occurred at the factory, the meat
Oh,
factory?
somebody got put in the aerosol cans.
Yeah,
Come on.
that's an easy
Someone-
one. Yeah.
Was-
It's,
Melissa, did our dad cause that?
Sure.
I love
Yeah.
it.
Well, say that's why the town's dying. The meat factory now has this nasty rumor that the ham wow is people.
Yeah, and they had to recall a whole bunch of cans that got distributed, and the economy's hurting. And
Oh God, this place is disgusting. Okay. There's
And wow is people.
I wrote that down. I have all these little things. I've got for all your spreadable meat needs. I've got the ham now is people, aerosolized
All
meat,
your sprayable meat.
sprayable meat needs too.
Sprayable. Oh.
Now in spray form. All right, let's move on to the military base. How many people have ties to the military base? I think we've got 2, right?
Mm.
Anybody else want to have family
No.
ties or something like that?
I think my dad's probably a civilian contractor. That's why we
Fair
get
enough.
all the nice tech.
Mm.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Okay.
His new boyfriend Chet, who beats me.
All right.
Stupid shit.
The hobo somehow is able to get in and out of it. Just
He's
randomly
a
knows
vet.
things about it.
He's a vet.
Yeah. Okay. We vet.
Yeah.
Yep.
What branch of the military?
Army. This far
Army.
inland.
Air Force is
Yeah.
pretty common out here. Army's fine though. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Space
It makes
Force.
sense that all of us that are related have family in the military.
Mhm. Space Force. Okay, it's an army base. What is the what's the forward-facing focus? Like, what do they say the base is supposed to be doing?
Ooh, it could be one of those big listening outposts. Like there's a whole bunch of these radar arrays.
yeah, it's
On
like
there?
Mm.
Well, if it's that, then maybe it should be Air Force.
probably
No,
Air
it
Force.
could be
then,
Army
if
too.
it's-
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Listening
they're in
post.
intelligence.
Yeah.
So signals intelligence.
Okay, listening post, intelligence signals. They're looking for extraterrestrial life. Okay, and
Supposed to
then
be like part, just like, what's that called? I'm pretty sure there's bases that are like storage too, that are like
Area 50.
where they house a lot of the
like
military
garrisoning or
vehicles
whatever.
and stuff.
Okay. Okay,
So if we're in the desert, desert combat training too.
you do that.
Mm-hmm.
Next question. What are some crazy rumors about what the base really does?
There's a silo
Nuclear
there.
waste storage.
Nuclear
Ooh.
silo.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Nuclear.
no, man,
They're storing
it's nuclear
waste.
warheads, not
Yeah.
nuclear waste.
Oh, okay.
There's both. You can have
These are
both.
the
Yeah.
these are the warheads that were leaking, so they had to hide them somewhere.
Yes.
Leaking war. That makes sense. That's probably why we have this meat problem. Leaking warheads. Okay. Other ideas? We have multiple. There's not just one. There's could be a whole litany of them.
I mean, we got the radar stuff, so I mean, they could be like, surveilling for space or whatever.
Looking for
Yeah.
aliens,
for aliens.
space. Okay, perfect.
I mean, that's like an easy one. I mean,
Mhm.
Psychic warfare, training.
I was gonna
Scanner
say
come
like
for-
mind
Oh,
control.
Like get too old to twitch.
Yeah,
know.
the city is a test bed. Like we're all unknowingly being used as guinea pigs for the
Constantly
sonic
having-
arrays.
radioactive,
test
or, radio waves broadcasted into us. They're not radars; they're actually radio broadcasters instead.
Okay, I love it. Okay.
R&D for alien tech.
Yeah, there's some strange AM channel that comes through the radios that it's just weird beeps and gibberish, and everyone.
Oh, number
presumes it's-
station.
Yeah, it's the number
Yeah.
station. It's the military, man, trying to control our minds and stuff.
Yeah, but so back to the fictional game. So what else? Okay. Let's see. Yeah, that's good for the military base for now. Okay, then the next thing I want to do is let's talk about like a wasteland area. So like just an area that's just empty of it's empty.
Salt flat.
Okay,
It's
salt flat.
Salt flat. Like
Okay,
nothing.
perfect.
Nothing can live there, lives there, or can grow there. It's just a big, huge salt flat.
Perfect.
There you go.
Yes.
I was gonna say the same thing.
Someone tried to develop something here on the salt flats at some point, but it failed.
The
What-
original
what was
settlers.
it? No, more
Oh.
recently, like 20th
Okay.
century.
Okay.
Well, yeah, I
Meat
mean, it's-
factory. Meat factory. They were trying to actually build it outside of town so that it wouldn't stink up the place, but the soil was just too alkaline, just kept eating through all the metals in the structure.
there you go.
I like to think too, it might have been like they tried to make a tourist spot out of a salt flat.
Oh.
It's just
It's just not that interesting.
Tourists.
Salt flat racing.
Okay,
And,
so I
got-
yeah.
So I'm
Oh,
gonna
man.
put first site for the meat factory. Then the meat factory that they had constructed was repurposed for a tourist center that then also failed. And so now there's just the ruins of a former factory and former tourist site out on the salt flats that no one really uses anymore. Perfect.
I do love the idea that people go out there to race.
Yeah.
That's what you use salt flats
Mhm.
for, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
That's the thing that people do with it now.
Mhm.
Parties have
Always.
occurred there.
It's so funny that you mentioned that, Jeremy. When we get down to the bottom, there's a spot where I'm like, other quirky landmarks, like places where people race cars. Like, here we go. We just naturally stumbled
Excellent.
across it.
We're not cool enough to host a Burning Man, so we have Salty Man.
Salty man, so
Do
good.
you- oh, especially because
God
with the
damn
meat
it,
factory
Bert.
and everything. Oh my god, do we make like a meat man and put him in a
Salted
bonfire?
meat man. Oh my god.
Yes.
Wow.
The meat man coming.
We have salted meats. Okay.
He's
This is
been
too good.
assembled with just spray meat,
I have more ideas. Okay. Oh god. All right.
like paper mache and spray meat.
Oh my goodness. This is crazy. All right. Schools. We're going to say, just for ease, that within the grounds of endurance, there's one of each tier. So what's the name and mascot of your high school? And you all
It's
attended.
what's a desert type animal?
You've always got
Vulture.
rattlers, you've got
Yeah.
vultures.
Coyotes.
Yeah,
Do
definitely.
they have like something like a boar or something like
Yeah,
that?
javelina.
Javelina.
That way we can
Javelina?
like stick with
Yeah,
our
it's like a-
our ham
It's like
wow
a
and
tiny
some
little
other things like that.
piggy type thing.
No, I like that.
I would like to
yeah.
think that like
Scorpions,
the
we have
elementary
scorpions
school.
or armadillos. Go ahead there.
I would like to think that like from elementary to middle school to high school, the name and the mascots just get more and more like violent or scary.
All right, so what's the cute one for the elementary school then?
Prairie
A
dog.
cactus or prairie dog.
Prairie dogs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
what's the name of the elementary school? Oh, we're getting a nice
Oh,
raid there.
raid.
Thank you, Featherfall, for that raid.
Nice.
Maybe like a boar.
Very, very
It's,
nice
like,
of
down
you.
in the middle.
We
it's-
are playing Things from the Flood. We're doing some world building, building a little mystery landscape sandbox for us to play in. So yeah, thanks for swinging by. This is awesome. Sorry, Chuck, I cut you off. What were you gonna say?
I was thinking, like, what obscure, silly president could we name the school after?
James K. Polk.
There we go.
Okay.
It's the James K. Polk
Prairie
Elementary
Dogs.
School.
There's even it's the
Yeah.
Polk Prairie Dogs.
The Polk and Prairie Dogs.
There we go.
That's
Perfect.
fantastic.
Okay, so
So
then
every now and then they do a prairie dog
and a
polka.
javelina.
okay, we're doing great, Master Misunderstood. We are building the weirdest sleepy desert town to play things from the flooded. This is great. We have a meat factory that tried to build on top of the salt flats, and now we're thinking about maybe having annual Salty Man celebrations out there. I don't know what's going on. All right, so we have the James K. Polk Prairie Dogs for the elementary school. Using Joe's logic, for middle school, junior high, what's the next violent tier?
I mean, armadillos get run over.
Or
Yeah.
could it be like a rat? Well, a snake might have to be the top tier.
I'm good with armadillos, right? I mean,
Armadillo works. Yeah.
And then javelinas for the high schoolers.
Yeah.
So who's the?
Yeah, I have weird, strange James K. Polk knowledge. It's an old like inside joke with me and my friends. Don't worry about it. From like 25 years ago that I still remember. Armadillos. Okay, so we got armadillos.
Or we could do prairie dogs, javelinas, coyotes,
Okay,
which I think is a progression.
all right.
in-
Javelinas.
I will admit, like having some sort of roadrunner or coyote thing, as I see mentioned in chat, I wouldn't hate having.
We could do Roadrunner
Coyote.
for the middle school, and then Coyote for the high school. Because Coyote is more violent, even though it didn't
Yeah.
go. I mean, even in the cartoons, they were much more violent, just not very successful.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we'll do. Okay, so Roadrunners for middle school, and who is this one named after?
Hoover.
Oh, no.
Maybe it was like recently changed to one of the rich people in town that donated a bunch of money.
Name a rich person. Give me a name for a rich person, Joe.
Gotta be something pompous.
I like how Philip K. Dick. It's just all of the schools are named after people with the middle initial K.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think their first name's gonna be Clives.
Clives? We're in
Clives.
America
Why
now,
did
Joe.
you-
We're in
why
America
did you
now.
ask
Yeah.
Joe to come up with a name?
Yeah, that was a really bad idea.
Rockefeller Roadrunners is fun.
Okay, we'll
Yeah.
do a Rockefeller.
Clives Rockefeller.
Clives.
Clives.
Can we do Clyde? Okay, fine, I'll do
Yeah.
it. It made Jeremy laugh. Clive's Rockefeller. All right.
The Rockefeller Roadrunners.
Rockefeller Roadrunners. And then the
He's
high
very
school.
self-conscious about his stupid name, so he's always really angry at the town.
Yeah, they're probably not even related to the actually rich Rockefellers.
Oh no, they are. It's just like distant cousins.
It's like third cousins. Yeah.
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 So far away that they're not like that rich.
Yeah.
About 100 million removed.
Yeah. Exactly. Okay, high school then. So we've got Coyotes. And what's this school named after?
It needs to be a movie director.
Or
Okay.
it could just be like
The
the.
Coppola Coyotes.
Francis Ford Coppola. I was thinking the same
It could
thing.
just be like the
The
town name too.
Scorsese.
I was actually going with where Joe was going, and just like Endurance High School. Like that's
Yeah.
the high school
Okay.
is just kind of
Okay.
the town name.
All right.
That's
So like
not a
what's
bad
our
one.
little like mottos are like showing the coyote never giving up. So we actually root for the coyote. Never get up. Someday
Yeah.
you're gonna get him.
Okay. And like I like to think that the mascot on your football is like a really cheap version of the coyote, but not so much that you're gonna get sued. So it's
Yeah.
like you know, it sort of looks like
Legally distinct coyote.
yes, it's a slightly different color. Root for the coyote. All right,
Uncanny coyote.
beautiful.
It's like missing an eye.
A
So if
coyote
we're in
is-
November, we probably have images of the Roadrunner but cooked up as a turkey.
there you go,
Oh wow.
Roadrunner.
Yes, Coyote Fest would definitely be the name of any like pep rally kind of a thing that
Yes,
connects to the
turkey.
school, like homecoming kind
Yeah,
of thing.
the sports rally, you know.
Okay, it was Coyote Fest. I like it. All right. And then let's see. Is there any kind of community college or vocational school here? There's not going to be a big university or anything like that.
No,
We're talking
no.
small. Okay.
No,
No.
when
You
you
go to
graduate, you
town.
join the military, you work at the meat plant, you work at the beer plant.
Got it.
Or you leave.
Or if you're really
you
into
leave.
it,
Or
go
you
to the
get
next
the
town.
hell out.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. Okay. No higher ed.
Maybe
There could
when-
be
Maybe a beauty
oh,
school.
Well, vocational
go.
school.
That's what I said.
Vocational
Yeah, that's what I was
school.
saying.
Yeah,
I said community or
I was thinking like
vocational.
some insanely obscure trade that that's also one of the only reasons some random people are here. It's
Like
like
what?
the only place to go to get certified or something.
What are we thinking? Like, could have air conditioner repair, but that feels a little too community, like the TV show.
I was like, well, in our high school, we had a vocational center
Salt
that
refining.
adults could go to, but students could also, in their senior year, take classes there.
Mm-hmm.
So they
Mhm.
taught things like drafting,
Same here.
electronics, boiler makings, welding, all of that.
I was
You
gonna
know.
say I taught at a vocational school for a bit. Yeah, they did. Mainly it was, are you doing automotive, diesel repair, HVAC, shit like that.
We could do HVAC. We
Very-
just do HVAC, like
Various
AC.
mechanical skills.
I
Okay.
like the idea in chat. So I think whatever town has the mall would be the town that has the community college, but it's
Yeah.
like 45 minutes away.
Okay.
So like
Yeah.
if you want to do it, you're committing a lot of time
Okay.
To
for
get there.
commute.
Yeah.
Okay. So then, I mean, I don't think we need to do this next one. I was going to do like miscellaneous landmarks, but we've covered so many, like just random things that we might also have. So if there's
Friendly's ice cream store. We gotta have an ice cream shop.
Yeah.
Friendly's
Mhm.
ice cream, and there's any kind of landmark you can think of. It can be business, it can be natural, it could be the burnt house in your neighborhood that never got rebuilt, anything like that. And anything like that, that's fine.
I
Chat.
think we're good on that. I mean, we got the
Yeah,
salt
we got
plant
so much stuff. Yeah.
ground, we got
Yeah.
the caves.
I mean, if we come down to it, we could always sprinkle some more in later or something. But I think we got a lot already.
Slide whistle. There's definitely a sinkhole nearby. There's a lot you can do with a sinkhole. 5
That
to
used
6
to be
hardware
endurance,
stores
or
for
actually the
grocery
rebuilt
store.
endurance. The first one went down the sinkhole.
It didn't really endure too well.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we've got a Chi-Chi's diner to combine a couple.
Yeah, I
of
saw that
chat
before.
suggestions.
Yeah, Chi-Chi's. Okay.
Can make that the diner.
All right. Feel free, chat. If you have other ideas, throw them out there. We'll grab them. So let's do powers that be really quick. Major. Who's the mayor or other kind of notable city official? Who's the most forward facing like city official?
Oh, Mr. Ham has got to be the mayor, right?
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah.
I do also have who is a rich, well known citizen. So that could also
So that
be
could
Mr.
be Mr. Ham.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
John
mayor's
Ham.
got to be some, retired old lady who's real big in the church community too, who's just out there meddling and policing.
We elected the town
Everyone's-
cat.
There you go.
Oh my god, there was a write-in ballot that actually got the
Yeah.
cat elected,
I
and
would've
the
read
cat's
that.
owner is like the stand-in acting mayor.
Once elected a cat. Odor is the mayor. Okay.
Evelyn Myers is just the sweetest old lady.
All right. That's what it is.
Nobody
She
knows
runs on
why
the
we
do
collectively
nothing
voted for Old
platform.
Scratch, but
Evelyn Myers.
Oh shit.
Done.
Evelyn Myers and her cat Old Scratch.
Okay. Chief of police
Cat
or
Mal.
law enforcement official that would we would know.
I'd be like,
Chief of
Voodoo.
police is Sheriff Randy Call, because that was the name of the cop in the little town I grew up in, and he was a fucking asshole.
Okay. I'm gonna
Is
write.
it, do we want to have police, or are we county and there's like actually no police, and we
Yeah,
just
that's
have
what I-
county police?
It's whatever
Yeah.
you want. Like we can
But
treat
there's
it
a-
however you want. Just some
There's a
sort of
police
law
department, and it's just like
Yeah.
a one-room little building.
2 people work there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's the night guy and the day guy.
Okay.
and then
I
the
got, like,
base would
a
have their own
cell or two.
MPs.
And then like a super young intern guy.
Yeah,
The
what is the
deputy.
bar to church ratio? That's actually a good question. Do we think there's more bars or more churches?
Oh heck yeah!
More
As
bars.
Yeah.
depressing as this town is, there's gonna be more bars
There's-
than churches.
Got to be at least 2 churches in any small town. There's always
Yeah.
your Catholic church, and then there's your Presbyterian church.
Okay.
I feel like this
to
is very much
fight
a
it out.
brown bag town with like, just put your booze in a brown bag so we don't have to ask you.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And then who's your principal, a common teacher, or a guidance counselor that knows all of you and you know them?
Oh, the guidance teacher.
Ooh, yeah.
Dr. Fowles.
Yeah.
Dr. Faust.
Fowles, like
Okay.
Fowles. Dr. Fowles.
And I would say like assistant principal, because that's who usually handles like behavior stuff.
Yeah.
Say the assistant principal.
Thornwood or something that sounds unpleasant.
I was thinking guidance counselor, because we all actually have unique talents where like we could amount to something, and so the guy, the woman or guy is like really pushing us to pursue higher education.
Okay.
So yeah, Dr. Faust, the guidance counselor, and the assistant principal. Shit, what was the name of the
There
assistant?
probably is a
principal
Mormon
in my
church
school?
cafeteria, and you're right about here. I wouldn't be
Yeah.
surprised.
Location wise, there probably would be an LDS church.
If we're treating it like a Western desert town, so yeah. Okay. Last
I'm gonna
thing.
say vice principal.
Could be like Thornwood because he's a pain in the ass.
There you go.
I already got Dr. Fowles. One is probably enough. I probably
Okay.
don't need more than
Okay.
one. Okay, and then the last thing for world building, and then we'll do a scene or two, and then we'll bail. Teen hangouts. Where do teens commonly hang out? And feel free to point to stuff we've already came up with.
So
The
all
arcade.
in one arcade / bowling alley
Bowling
/
alley bar. Yeah.
Okay. So that's like the most common place. That's like the in place, right?
You try and sneak in a beer while you're playing the arcade or bowling.
Somebody in the chat had said a drive-in theater. Like,
Yeah.
so at nights, we can watch movies there, but during the day, it's just a big open lot. So people park there and
So I was going to say, where do the nonconformists congregate? Could we say that's the drive-in movie? The people who don't want to be... Okay. Drive-in. Okay.
And then like
Why can't I spell that right?
the even more outliers probably at the salt flats or the caves.
Bert, you
Yeah.
probably would be the best person to answer this question. Where do teens get drugs?
me.
Okay.
No, the Shady Hotel, man.
Okay, Lucky
the
Star, the
Lucky
Lucky
Star.
Stars.
Yeah.
Drugs from
That's gotta
Lucky
be it.
Stars.
I also like to think there's like some corrupt dude at the half pharmacy, half laundromat.
Everyone thinks it's Las Vegas. Jeez. We didn't really talk about. There's probably a casino here somewhere. It's probably crappy. We'll cover that at some point. Okay, then. And I think we already kind of. And then, does your group hang out at the bowling alley / arcade stuff, or do you have other place where you guys often hang out?
Somewhere else. I think the bowling alley. Like my character wouldn't have a lot of money.
about the Salt
for any of
Flats?
that.
Yeah, I think Dan mentioned it too. The
Yeah.
Salt Flats. We'll say because the Salt Flats has that like rundown old like tourist location. Prior was the factory, so Salt Flat Ruins, perfect. Okay, all right. So we've got a lot of stuff that I'm gonna type up. I'll probably listen back, and what I'll do is I'll try to, based upon what everyone said, I'll try to put some points on the map. I'm not going to put like every little landmark, but I'll probably put like sections. So like downtown, then I'll have like a list of info. And the way the sandbox works is, you guys all have done hex crawls and things before. It's kind of similar. You just sort of, I throw certain hooks your way. You're going to come up with hooks as well. We'll talk about that off air when we finish. But you just kind of go different places to do things. And that's pretty much how this works. It's not so much like Vaesen, where I had a very specific mystery and I'm like, you're going on this mystery whether you like it or not. This is more like, you guys want to like go. I heard this rumor from this one guy at Lucky Stars, like, or let's go get drugs at Lucky Stars, or my drug dealer's missing, or something like that, So it's gonna be a little bit different from what we're used to with Vaesen. But I figure what we'll do for the last 15 to 20 minutes or so here is, I want to do like just a little prologue scene, and just we'll kind of get your characters into a scene or two. I'm gonna switch us back over to the drama overlay so people can see us. And I gotta go back and scour the chat too, because there are lots of ideas that were flying. And
Thank you everybody for all the suggestions.
Really appreciate it. This is gonna be fun. This is gonna be a fun, silly place. So let's do a scene or two. So have any of you, other than Melissa and I, been in a Western state, like for a significant period of time?
No.
One of the things that we get here, pretty regularly, and this is also true of endurance, is violent and voluminous dust storms. So this is something that happens all the time, so get used to it. You are used to it. You've all been here for a fairly long time. And usually these things have a tendency to cover buildings and cars and dirt. People pull over on the side of the road when they're driving in them, so they don't, just like it's a rainstorm. There's not a ton of rain here. There's some. But mostly it's the dust storm. That's the problem. It infects the rich people's swimming pools. It destabilizes the power grid, causes people to just kind of lose their minds for a bit. Today, November, is a Wednesday. Yesterday, Bill Clinton was just elected president. It's Wednesday. It's after school. One such storm is kind of raining havoc upon the area. And I was going to say that you've taken shelter, all of you, just to wait for this to sort of pass over. I was going to give you an option: abandoned gas station, junkyard, highway overpass, or we could say you're at the Salt Flat hangout. We can do that too.
I'm tempted to do the Salt Flat hangout. We just take shelter in the building.
Yeah, and it's not the safest of buildings, but it's got some of it has a roof over its head. It's probably more like a complex, right? There's probably a couple of little buildings here and there. Some of them are safer than others. So let's do this. One by one, let's just go through. I'm going to start with Dan. Be ready, Dan, but I'm going to give you a second. I'm going to ask you a couple questions. First, physically describe your character, what they're doing right now to pass the time while the sand and dirt is just whipping around like crazy, and how was your day at school? So those are the three questions. So Dan, physically describe your character.
Well, I'm going to go really unoriginal on this and probably just say that they're just kind of like myself, just tall, skinny. Unlike me, they're probably in a little better shape. They take care of themselves a little better than I do.
Okay. And what are you doing to pass the time? Because you can't drive, you can't walk, you can't ride a bike.
Can't drive. Probably can't hear anybody anyways. Probably just sitting there listening to music.
You got like a Discman or a Walkman or something?
Walkman, yeah.
Or a boombox? Okay. All right. And how was your day at school?
Same as any other.
Okay. Same as any other. So was it not great? Are you generally not a great student, or?
Yeah, just an all right day.
Okay.
Showed up, went to class, did my work.
And the last time there was a dust storm, something really annoying happened to you, or someone in your family, something like just a pain in the ass. Like what was that thing, Dan?
Boy, what if it got in my cassette player?
Exactly. Yeah. So the sand got in your cassette player. It took like a week for you to empty it out, to get it back working because there's just so much sand. All right, perfect. Near you is Jeremy. Jeremy, your character, what do they look like?
Yeah, so Llewllyn looks like a little jarhead in the making. He's built like a moose, just a big old broad-shouldered kid, probably still wearing his sports like sweats and whatnot. Close cut, high and tight sort of hair, because we're not going to a barber. We're just trimming it down short.
What are you doing right now to pass the time while the storm's raging outside?
Just doing my best to scowl a hole into a wall with my eyes as I bounce a ball back and forth and catch it.
Okay.
Bounce it off the floor, off the wall, and try and catch it. And just this kind of those things where he's been doing it 100 times. It's probably driving somebody else up the wall.
Roll a force test.
It's like a mechanical thing for you to do, though.
Totally. Yeah. It's just kind of like just to have something. He doesn't like being alone with his thoughts.
Maybe that's why I'm listening.
At some point, it's accelerating the force of your throw, and then you just put a hole right in the wall, and the ball goes through it, and like a little bit of like plaster and stuff falls down, and you can see like there's just a hole, and on the other side of that hole, you can see Melissa's character, your sister, who is now looking back through you at the hole. Melissa, what do you look like?
So Allison is built similarly to her brother. So she's taller, she's bigger, she looks at least 2, if not 3 years older than she really is. and she's got a little notebook out, because she's always trying to think of like places that we haven't gone, or somewhere else to hold kind of the next party.
Mhm.
So kind of she's always looking for, kind of bouncing all around, so we don't get caught, places we haven't been, and just trying to make sure that everybody's always having a good time. So
Okay.
she's kind of taking down notes of what's up next. Holidays are coming, so there's a lot of, parties to be had.
How was school today?
Am I allowed to say what school? That was not on my agenda for the day.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Nice.
Joe, where does your character like to hang out on the grounds of this former tourist place / factory?
I feel like if there was a second floor, he'd like just kind of walking around it, just
Sure.
having advantage over everything else.
A couple
Pacing.
holes in it too. You can look down at the group.
Yep.
Yeah.
I feel like he'd be doing that.
What does he look like?
Passing time. He'd be. I picture him pretty tall. He's got like greasy, slicked back, really dark hair,
Mhm.
and he like kind of shaves it at the sides, but it's very badly done because he does it himself. He wears kind of like bulkier clothing that hides how well built he is, and he kind of always tries to appear like unassuming.
Okay.
And I think he'd be passing time just by pacing, and he's got a switchblade on him that he just like clicks in and out constantly.
Okay. And Chuck, your character is probably maybe on the second floor too, and you can see the flipping of the blade. What does your character look like?
Taller dude, kind of, that farm boy muscly, kind of long, and the stringy rocker grunge hair. Some sleeveless band t-shirt. The sleeves are for nerds.
Agreed.
And actually, I was thinking rather than being up there, I'd probably be down next to Jeremy's,
Okay.
because he's throwing that ball at the wall just rhythmically. So I'd just be using that as a little beat while I noodle away on some little tune on the guitar.
Okay. Is it acoustic?
No, it is electric.
Okay.
But,
it's not plugged in. Yeah.
It's not plugged
Electric,
in.
and it's like missing the B string.
Yeah.
But
got out of a pawn shop. We probably have a pawn shop somewhere on.
Yeah, probably.
on
Yeah,
Main
you hit it hard enough, you can still hear it.
Yeah.
One of the knobs has popped off. It's missing.
That's why I got some pliers in my back pocket if I need to adjust that one.
Pliers
Yeah.
and a nail or screw or something.
goodness. And then 3 o'clock high, I'll definitely put it on the list to hold Twitch. And then finally, Bert, where's your hacker fella at?
Yeah, he likes heights, so he's probably on the second floor, sitting on an iron beam.
Okay.
He's got a leather jacket, well worn, well broken in. He's got an Iron Maiden t-shirt, some blue jeans, engineering boots. He's got this perfectly coiffed pompadour, faded sides. He's got his Walkman in. He's got a little cooler, the 6-pack of beer. He can't drink it because it'll kill him, but he's just like anybody that's coming by just throws a beer to.
Very cool.
He's a
Nice.
handsome kid. He's obviously young, but he's got really dark bags under his eyes.
I like it.
He's got a cigarette. Rolled
He's
up
got a
cigarette
cigarette.
on his thing.
Perfect.
Full on revel.
Perfect. All right. So you're all kind of in your own little sections, and the storm is just getting worse and worse. And there's still windows here, but there's also a lot of open sections of the building that you're in. And there's other buildings as well, and you can see that they're getting hit too. There's others that probably use this place as well. You can see a lot of trash, debris on the ground. Some of it's getting thrown through the cracks in the walls. You see various like advertisements from anywhere just suddenly smash up against the glass of a window. It's got like, something about a Halloween party or whatever, or something about like a missing dog. But as you're looking out into the, through the windows and through the, and the second floor and stuff, you can see that there's all sorts of debris flying around as well. There's debris from this location because everything's kind of in ruins anyway. But then there's occasionally, like, you just see a tire just fly around somewhere. Jeremy, you probably like, oh, hopefully that's not yours. But at a certain point, those of you on the second floor, as you're kind of staring around, and you're looking out. You have a better vantage point than those in the first floor. You see this in this fairly like kind of light brown horizon. You can see that there is a massive, dark, almost black shape that is just moving across the horizon on the other side of the factory complex and a little bit further away. And it's, when I say massive, I mean massive. It's like almost, it's like a building unto itself, and it's just this black bar in an otherwise light brown horizon, and it's just moving kind of in a northerly fashion. And the two of you upstairs, you notice this.
Which direction relative to the military base is it heading?
We'll say the military base is probably east of here, so it's not going towards it.
Yeah.
So you see this
Is it
big
heading
thing
towards us?
No, it's sort of just past, like kind of bypassed this little section and just continues the head kind of away. But it's kind of this big lumbering black shadow that occasionally kind of contorts itself in the middle of the sand. Those of you on the bottom floor, you can go and roll an investigate check to see if you see it as well.
I'd probably be like studying Bert's character for a bit to see if he notices it too, and see like if his eyes are also tracing it, and then ask him about it if he does.
I'll be fumbling around for my Polaroid camera, which if I can't have it, I don't have it on me. But otherwise, it's like,
it's Brian on
direction
you.
of it.
Down in the first floor, the only person who noticed it is Dan.
Yeah, I figure I'm just kind of looking around while I'm listening to my music. So
Okay. The rest of you don't see it, and then eventually, it's like as you're fumbling around for the
it's
Polaroid.
like a vertical column.
Yeah, it's just like this fluid little vertical column that's just moving across the horizon northward away from you all.
I might just abjectly say, y'all see that?
And at that point, anyone on the first floor now can see it too.
I can't hear their answers. Just
So,
Be like, what do you think that is?
It's like just a vertical column kind of wiggling across the desert, like those one things from like Mario, man.
Yeah.
maybe I'll like take a headphone off.
okay.
How far away do you think that is? Maybe we can look at it when the storm ends.
So Allison she has one of those disposable cameras because she's always kind of, when she skips school, she's looking for, kind of places to go. So she's going to try to snap a picture.
Sure. Yeah.
With one of those fun little orange
Kodak stuff. Yeah.
single use. Yep.
Who's got electronics on them?
You gotta go.
Okay.
Rotate the
I
film.
said I had my Walkman on, so
Okay.
maybe would that count?
Those of you with Walkmans or Discmans or whatever you were listening to suddenly stops, and all you hear for a few seconds is just like static, just so even if you were listening to it, even if you were listening to a cassette or CD, it's this just steady sound. And then after a moment, you hear the sounds of what almost seems like a telephone being dialed, like boop boop boop. And then moments later, you hear, like, again through your headphones, just the two of you, you hear this like operator voice come on, and it's like, call cannot be completed as no.
Might yell to Bert, you hearing this?
Yeah, just listening in real. Just like,
Okay.
Did the voice sound foreign? Did it
Sound like an automated voice, like almost like a cheap early digitalized voice.
Oh, okay.
Like, call cannot be completed as no.
Can I push record on my tape deck?
Yeah, you press
Try and
record and
catch
save it. Yeah. And then it goes static again, and then you hear a single button, boop, like press again. And then moments later, that voice comes on again, and in that digitalized voice, it says, if you would like to make a collect call, press 1. And then there's this like fairly there's like a series of prompts asking for like the punch in the number. Then you hear like, and then who, you know, like and it asks for prompts for a name, and then you hear a kind of this teenage girl voice come on, and names herself Alice Chandler. So party goer, Allison. You don't have any Walkmans or anything on, right?
No, I don't.
Okay. I would say Bert, Dan, you vaguely would know the name Alice Chandler. She's a senior at the high school. Just wasn't running the same circles as you do. She was supposedly she ran away. No one's really seen her since Halloween. And everyone just sort of assumes that she finally skipped town. Her dad was like just kind of, he abandoned the family when they were younger. Her mom's kind of like super emotionally abusive, and everyone just sort of like, everyone was kind of paying attention to it for a couple of days. They were worried, and they're like, something else happened. Something else came up. Some weird thing happened at the meat factory, and suddenly no one paid attention anymore. So yeah, so Bert and Dan, that's what you would know. But you hear her name, and then suddenly the phones, then like your headphones start ringing, like they're actually a phone.
Hmm.
And so after like, go ahead, Dan.
Quickly shout out if you know Melissa knows anything about Alice Chandler.
And so hearing that name, I'm going to assume that she's going to be very worried.
Yeah, you would know her too, because the two of you probably get confused. Names sound similar, and it's just kind of annoying. Plus, you know, she's a little bit known to be a little bit of a partier herself.
So I'm gonna say, what are you talking about? Give me those, and I'm gonna like kind of rip the headphones off.
And as you grab them and listen, you hear like a male voice come on, and Endurance Police Station. This is Randy speaking, and then it suddenly stops broadcasting. And then Peter Gabriel's "Digging in the Dirt" song starts playing through both of your headphones. And whether or not you have it in the cassette tape, whether or not you have it on the radio, whatever, it's the song that has that phrase like, "This time you've gone too far." That one kind of over and over again. And so that starts playing over and over, and then it starts to warp. It's like, "This time you've gone," and it just kind of warps out, and then everything starts static again.
Hey Jeff, I want to rewind it to see if it did record what I was hearing.
Okay.
And in particular, the numbers being dialed.
Okay. You
because they would still be tones at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, you rewind it, and you hear only the dials and only the phone. You don't hear any voices, but you just hear and you would be able to deduce that it sounds like 0 and it sounds like 911. So the first was 911, the second was 0, I should say. But you get no voices. It's just like static, and then boop, boop, boop. Now, after you finish like recording and listening to it, both of your headphones just stop entirely. Nothing, no sounds coming out of them. Looks like you look at them briefly, and like there's you press this button, you press that button, you look for that tiny little like
Just
power
fix
light.
This.
But yeah, it's just not working anymore.
Stick it in my jacket and get back down to ground level.
Okay.
Might ask him if he's got any spare batteries.
Yep. So I heard him yell down the person's name, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, hey, when did she leave?
Halloween. Wait, nobody's seen her since Halloween.
It was the weirdest thing. I mean, she called 911. Yeah. Throw my Walkman on the ground.
How did she sound? Did she sound okay?
Did she sound panicked? Or
The only thing you ever heard her say was her name, and she sounded panicked. She's like,
right.
Alice, it's Chandler.
Yep. Yeah, sounded panicked. The officer that answered, that is our current officer.
Yeah, it's one of the local cops, Randy Cole. Okay. And so as you're talking, you can see that the storm outside begins to lighten up at this point. And Chuck, you kind of notice sort of it's kind of an odd, like it doesn't function. It doesn't sort of like move on the way a storm does. You don't really see like this, like them. It doesn't kind of pass off. It just kind of starts to evaporate, and you can see suddenly outside of the salt flat building that you're in, you can see that there's these tiny small pockets of like dust clouds that are remaining, almost like they're fog level, that are just still in the area. And then there's like empty space in between. It's just like there's these big poofy dust dirt clouds scattered about the complex.
So here inside, there's those clouds?
outside. You can see them outside.
Okay.
Pockets of fog or something.
So
almost.
it's like there was all this dust, and then it just sort of kind of evaporated and left like a handful of these small chunks, and they're slowly beginning to kind of dissipate as well.
How close is the closest one?
You can see one about 100 yards away on the other side of the complex.
I'll go ahead and slap on Jeremy's character. Like, come on, I'll race you there, man.
Whatever, loser. No, give it your best shot, man. Come on, let's go.
All right, then we go. Like, yeah, I'm gonna try and get to it before it.
Okay, roll move tests, both of you.
All right, you know what? I'm gonna like intentionally like stutter step myself a little bit. I'm gonna give myself a -1 to my move, because like I won't give him a chance.
God, you're such a good person, even in your fictional characters. Okay. Is this not rolling down? All right. I don't think it's updating the rolls. Oh, well. There it goes. Okay.
All right. Oh, look at that. It's a tie.
Yeah, you guys are just right next to each other. But the thing is as you're running towards it, you get about halfway there, and you see like this electrical little cackling from, and then you hear a voice, this automated digitalized voice emit from the cloud. And you're about 40 to 50 yards away, and you hear, if you would like to make a collect call, press 1.
That's fucked up. I'll yell out 1 at it.
Good one.
Yeah. Do you keep going?
Yeah, keep going.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
When you get about 20 yards away, you hear suddenly the cloud emits Peter Gabriel's voice, and it says, "This time you've gone too far." And then this big detonation happens from the dust cloud, sending all sorts of dirt waves outwards in all sorts of different directions. I need both of you to figure out how are you defending yourselves from this explosion of dust and dirt?
Hitting the dirt, head down.
Okay.
Like just
I'm wearing sweats with a hoodie, I would assume, so just hit the dirt and pull the hoodie up and over. And
okay. You can roll force or move, whichever you prefer. And there's if you fail, you'll be taking a condition.
Want to do move.
It's the same either way.
Okay. So you see just at the last second, as it begins to emerge, you quickly fall down, and you're able to, you can feel like yourself getting hit with dirt and sand and debris. Like you hear the sounds of like something heavy, kind of rattling over top of you. When you look back, you can see that there's this dirty, rusted old wheelbarrow that's missing its wheel, that's just flopping around right behind you, that if you would have failed, you likely would have gotten hit by. And those of you who are back in the building, you see all this happen, and like this radiation of dirt and waves just begins coming out. And when it's done, those of the two of you up front, so Chuck and Jeremy, you can see that there's like almost like a small impact crater where the cloud used to be. And then every couple of yards, there's like in a radius around it, there's these ridges of dirt, almost like frozen waves, but they're made of dirt. Like they're cresting even, as if everything's kind of frozen back. These waves continue to, like, the intervals kind of get bigger the further it gets away. But by the time it reaches the building that the rest of you are in, everything just kind of flattens out and it dissipates. So every like 10 yards or so, you can just see this circular dirt ridge, and then another circular dirt ridge, and then another circular dirt ridge, and at the very center, there's this little impact crater where the actual dirt cloud was.
That's weird. If we make it there, is there anything in the crater?
Yeah, so you get up, you move a couple more steps. There's no more cloud now. You look down, you see that it's not a very big impact crater. It's just maybe 2 yards across or so. But you can see that inside, just a couple feet deep, you notice that there is a body of a young woman. I'll show it to you now. Looks vaguely like that. What's up, Chuck? You see me? Laying in the ground.
Is she alive?
You look down. She's got this loose tank top, these baggy jeans, this army jacket. You can see that she's just staring straight up at the sky, eyes wide open. But you don't see the chest moving up and down. And you're like a couple feet up on the ridge looking down on this crater.
God.
Man, I'm gonna like hop down there and if she needs help or not.
Yeah, I'll follow suit, seeing him do it. Yeah.
So what do you do when you hop down in terms of like helping? Like you said, when you see her, she needs help. What do you do?
I mean, I'm not a damn
Call
doctor or
outs.
nothing, but just like,
Yeah.
hey you, hey.
No response. At this point, those of you back there, you can see the two of them just sort of like hop down. You can't really see them anymore because these ridges of dirt. So those of you back in the way, like these little like hurdles along the way. But the rest of you are back there while Chuck and Jeremy are up there. What are you doing as you see them hop down?
As soon as that explosion happened, my brother is out there. I am running.
Okay.
Fast as I can.
So you're just running and
Are
just
they
pushing
down
past.
in a hole?
Uh-huh. Yep. Yeah.
I might start walking towards them, but I kind of want to look and see, like, is the dirt, like, is it, like, soft, these ridges? Is it, like, loose, or is it, like, hard packed, or...
So you stop and look at some of the dirt? Yeah, like it looks kind of surprisingly colorful. Like, the salt flats are fairly pale, but this is kind of, like, almost orangey, right? Almost clay-like. But it's not clay. Like it's got it's way looser and kind of fine. It almost seems like painted sand that some of the hippies use to create like their little kind of jars with decorations and stuff on the sides. But it's all kind of orange. Roll when you start to touch it though, your fingertips go numb. And Joe, your character is still back there and coming out. Melissa, you ran up. Bert and Joe, you watch as Dan's hair starts to rise as he's just sort of playing with the dirt a little bit.
Oh my. I don't know if my hands go numb, I might just say to be careful with this.
If I like poke him, do I get like a shock of static electricity or something?
Yeah, when you poke him, you can see like, yeah, you feel like a little small jolt. Sure.
Might warn Bert to keep his electronics away from this.
Okay.
Actually, when I see the hair start to rise, the first thing I think is that they're about to get hit by lightning. Is that something that happens with ground effects? I yell, "Get in here! Get out of there!"
I mean, if he's yelling at me, I'll probably do it.
Okay. So you turn around and run back inside. Sure.
I might,
Joe, what do you do?
grab a handful of it on my way and see if that effect.
Are there any clouds or anything in the sky?
When you look up, you can see that it is in the last couple of minutes, ever since this thing started to dissipate, it's beautiful blue sky.
I'll bring some of that back with me at least.
I'm gonna hear him like yelling to get inside that they're gonna get struck by lightning or something. I'm just gonna be looking up. I'm like, I don't think that's it.
Okay. So
Can I see this girl yet?
yeah, if you run up, you can catch up. You'll be a second or two
Okay.
behind. Dan, you said you're taking some?
Yeah.
As you try to like scoop some into whatever container you have, you notice something wiggling around in it. and like
Ugh.
4 or 5 beetles just emerge from the sand that as you pour it into the container itself.
Oh, that's weird. I mean, if I can snap him in there real quick, I'd like to. Otherwise,
Yeah, so you snap it down really fast. Roll a move test. See if you can get the lid on before they hop out.
All right.
You can push it, but the pushing is the same rules as Vason. We're about to finish, so you might as well push.
Okay. Yeah. Let's go ahead and do it. Is there a button for it?
There's a re-roll button in the chat window. So if you look over towards the chat, there should be a re-roll option or a push option for you.
I'm looking for it. I may
In
be
your
just-
roll,
In the actual chat roll.
the display for your roll.
There's like a pink button that says reroll.
in the
Oh,
middle.
I'm sorry. I'm just not scrolled down far enough.
Okay. Yeah, they scatter.
I'm not meant to succeed.
Yeah, unfortunately they scatter and you get the dirt, but the beetles seem to scatter and then they immediately start burrowing into the ground. Up by the body, Jeremy and Chuck, you hop down moments later as you're like leaning down to like kind of check for breathing, check pulse. When you go to check her pulse, you notice as you put your fingers, would you check the neck or would you check the wrist, Jeremy?
I mean, I would assume your meathead is just gonna check the throat.
Okay, so you reach in and you go to press your fingers against her neck, and your fingers just push into her neck, and sand and dirt just seems to crumble out of her neck like a sandcastle.
No.
This is when your sister catches up, a little bit out of breath. You look down, Allison, and you immediately recognize her as Alice Chandler, and she's wearing the exact same clothes that you last saw her in at the Halloween party about a week and a half ago. And you see your brother just moving back. Roll a move test, Jeremy.
Okay.
See if you manage to get out like without falling on your ass and flailing.
I mean, the failings happen no matter what.
Okay, yeah, you're able to back
Wow.
away and just hop back out of the crater at that point without doing anything else. Chuck, you're still down there though. And Joe,
Yeah.
at this point you catch up as well. But Chuck, you're still down there and you just watch that happen.
Oh, you fucking killed her, man. Oh,
Man,
shit.
you shut your mouth. I didn't do shit.
What
Oh,
did you
God.
do?
What did I do? I didn't. Fuck you. I'm going back to my car. I didn't do this. Sorry.
So I'm going to try to do the same thing he did, thinking that clearly I'm going to be able to do it better than he did.
You hop down, you do the same thing, and you stab her right in the neck, but you don't feel skin. You just sort of, it's like you're pushing into sand, and the neck just kind of crumbles. Like a big chunk of the neck just crumbles down, and there's this big hole, and it's just sand. It's just colorful, painted, perfect sand.
Oh, shit, you're right. What the fuck is this?
But the weirdest thing happened is as you do the first layer, it's like colored skin. But then as your finger pushes in, the coloring of the sand underneath is different. You see like red and pink, almost like the colors you would expect to see of a neck on the inside.
Stop poking it.
I'm going to keep poking.
You keep poking.
Stop poking.
And you just keep poking her. You poke her in the shoulder, like where her army jacket is, and the first layer that you touch is just a little layer of like dark green. Then underneath it, you can see like the black sand of the tank top, and then like the tan of her skin, and then like this pink color, and then like this weird kind of grayish white color. As the further it's almost like there's layer after layer after layer.
Can I ask, do I have any shots left on my disposable little Kodak?
Of course.
Okay.
So
So I want to,
yeah.
yeah, and I kind of want to have a picture with my finger in it, kind of showing like the different colors kind of as I go.
Okay.
That's so fucked up, man. Like, look, you can even like see them bones in there.
Why are you poking? Have you watched Tales from the Crypt? You know what's going to happen to you.
I'm
This
trying
is,
to see if she's in there somewhere. Like I'm thinking like if I
Well, if there was some way to bring her back, you've done fucked her up real good.
you
I'm sorry. This is just weird. I'm sorry.
Chuck, you notice something as they're arguing, like a small disruption in the pattern of the army jacket. That's got like it's got like M Chandler. It's not her name, obviously. It's a parent, you would imagine. You notice that there's a pocket and there's like a bus ticket. No, it's not a bus ticket. It looks like an ID card.
Can I like make out anything on it real quick, or
Roll an investigation test because you're gonna have to be fairly gentle with this.
yeah? Ooh, yeah, I'll push that.
Yeah, go ahead. Okay.
Yeah, there we
Do-
go.
All right.
You notice.
From where?
Go ahead, Joe.
Oh, or you can finish what you were saying.
Okay.
Sorry.
So I was gonna say, from what you can tell, it's kind of tucked into the pocket, but there's like an ID card. It looks to be the army base,
Mm-hmm.
and you can see like the top part of an old man's head. You can see like a crinkled, kind of the crinkling of the brow. It's like a little photo of an old man's head, furry hair, and he's got like really kind of sunken, sad-looking eyes. But you can't really see anything below the nose because of the way it's tucked in. And when you start to move it, you realize that you can't slide it out because you're just kicking sand in different directions.
Could I slide sand off from on top of the pocket to get down to it?
Yes, you could. That's what I'm thinking. And with your one success, I'm going to say you do that. And so you very carefully, very smart, you dust the top of the pocket off, and you can see it is a full Army ID card for Michael Chandler. And it's a picture of a man probably in his late 40s, mid 50s, but he's got like a beard. He's got like a white coat, but you can't. It's just an ID pic, so it's not the greatest of pics. If you show this to Allison,
I would call for Allison, like, quick, get a picture of this.
Allison, you look down, you go to zoom in and take a picture of it. It's you realize that the face looks really familiar, but you haven't seen the face in a very long time since you and Allison were. You and Alice were like, why'd you have to name yourself freaking Allison? You and Allison were young. But you recognize it as her father, who has been out of the picture for 10 years. But this is a military ID for the base.
Current?
As far as you can tell, you'd have to get an actual like a current military base ID to compare it to. Joe, what were you thinking?
Is this resembling that album art like intentional, or
it's got clothes? She's got clothes on, and there is a difference.
Right. We're
talking about Alice in Chains Dirt. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. So I'm wondering, like, is that just the picture that you wanted to use to?
No, that's what it looks like.
Or is that would I recognize that album art? Like, this scene is.
If any of you are Alice in Chains fans, yeah, you would be like, well, this bears a strange resemblance. She's in a little bit of a crater though; it's a little different, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Coloring's a little different. It's not all orange. She like the army jacket is green. The jeans are kind of blue and distressed. She's got a black tank top underneath. Like all of it is just. Mm-hmm. But like every time you touch any part of her that should be like flesh or clothing, it just crumbles away as sand.
Possible to see what the little beetles or whatever that came out are doing. If I can like follow them at least, if I couldn't grab them.
Sure. Yeah. You go chasing after them. And as you do, you start to stumble a bit, but it's not because like you're clumsy. It's because the earth begins to shake. Bert, you're inside in this building that you guys are in, and you start to see like stuff is beginning to fall, and you see like there's a tile above you. Like from the one of those, like an office place tile from the ceiling falls down in front of you, and just bursts in all sorts of different directions into sand.
Whoa! I'm getting out of here.
The rest of you feel the shaking of the earth. As the earth shakes, you can see she begins to crumble. And she just sort of, like the sand itself starts to vibrate in bits and pieces. You look around to the right and left of you. You see some of the debris that's been thrown about. It's shaking as well and just kind of crumbling into pieces of sand. You look out in the distance. You can see that there's this large saguaro cactus kind of just sitting on the horizon that just falls down into like a heap, this pile of dirt. You look over towards your car, Jeremy, and you see like there's this rusty old bike that's been tied up to a post next to it, and the post and the bike just tip over on top of your car, and like as you're watching it fall, it was like, oh my god, it's gonna scratch it up. But then as it crashes, it just cascades outward in dirt and sand. And then all of you turn and you watch as the building that Bert is now running out of just falls down, and there is now a large pile
Don't forget the
of
beer.
sand. And I think that's
Fuck
where
out
we'll
the cooler.
stop, by the way. We're going to stop right on that image.
Oh,
So
Right
that's
there.
why it had to be 1992. Dirt came out
Yes.
in 92.
That's exactly why.
Nice.
There you go.
I had an idea, and I wanted to use that cover. It's so bad.
Fantastic.
Okay.
Yeah.
We didn't really do much yet, so but everyone can go ahead and, you know, just for it's the first night, take a point of XP. We'll stockpile, and we'll get to this. We'll get back to it in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the start, and we'll continue this as we go. All right.
Awesome.
So again, we're gonna be playing this every other week. So you'll catch us not on the 8th, but on the 15th. What's when we'll be back. So come back every other Monday and watch stuff happen. I'm going to take all of the content that everyone kind of came up with tonight and make something out of this sandbox. Sandbox?
The worst place you'd ever want to live.
Sandbox.
Let's do some quick plugs here while we get out of here. Bert, what do you got going on this week?
I got some first edition Dungeons and Dragons tomorrow night on twitch.tv/Steam Still Murder. Some BX Dungeons and Dragons on Friday, and then Sunday, something fun.
Cool. Right on. Chuck, what's Defenders doing?
Yeah, we got what do we got? Wednesday night, Jeremy's running us through some spectaculars. This Friday, we're rocking out some Mutineer Zero. And then Saturday over on Goodman Games Official, we're going to be kicking off the Empire of the East, one of the funnels that comes with the new book from DCC.
Awesome. And then Jeremy.
I'll be piggybacking along with you guys and that stuff. And then we've got Plutecast, PLEWD. Why not?
Okay. As for myself and Melissa, tomorrow I'll be on during the day for North American people. I'll be over on Garblag Games, their Twitch stream, as we continue our Mask of Nyarlathotep Call of Cthulhu campaign. I'll be playing with some of these folks on Wednesday, and then on Friday over on twitch.tv/the Lollygaggers, Melissa and I are going to be playing The Dead Are Coming, which is a riff on Electric Bastion Land, Into the Odd. It's zombie themed, so we're going to be playing a little zombie game.
forward to getting back to Electric Bastion.
Yeah, 9 Central. And then Monday, a week from today on the 8th, also on our channel, we're going to be playing Alien. So we're getting back to Alien because it's fun and things are crazy. We are on a constant TPK watch every single freaking session. It's pretty great. So but that's it. I think that's it for tonight.
Thank you, everybody, for the raids, for all the
Yes.
suggestions.
Yeah. Thank you so much for the raids. We got, I think, 3 of them tonight. You all have been so great. And thanks for some of the bits, the ideas. I'm going to have to start scouring through the chat and through the video, through the audio to kind of collect what I missed. But we got some great stuff. We will, Gerard, we will have a bakery in the downtown. And it'll be a Swede that moved here and into the Midwest for some reason. And we'll figure that out as we go. But have a good night, everybody. Watch all these wonderful people this week, and we'll catch you in 2 weeks for more Things from the Flood. So, good night.